Hi future officers, welcome to chapters and welcome to your another important current affairs weekly revision session which is really going to be very helpful for your upcoming RBI Grade B officer examination point of view. So my dear friends, if I am audible and visible to all of you, please give me a thumbs up in the chat box so that we can start with today's revision session. So very good evening to all. Harshal, Kashish, Fruity and all the people who have joined us live today in this session. All of you are requested to give me a thumbs up in the chat box so that we can start with today's session. So I believe that everybody of you has come with the proper revision of the session that we have conducted yesterday and have covered all the important areas that we have revised, right? So thank you Harshal, Fruity and Kashish for giving me the confirmation that yes, all the technicalities are good and we are good to go with today's session. So guys, yesterday we started with the 8th to 15th of April 2026, right? So we started with 8th to 15th of April 2026 and today we will be covering the remaining part of the session, okay? So before moving ahead, if I ask you some of the questions, can anybody tell me that the career cards which have been recently launched, it is the initiative of which one of the following ministry? Quickly tell me in the chat box. What is the right answer? The career cards for the children with special needs have been launched by which ministry? Quickly tell me in the chat box. So Pranav, Kashish, Fruity, absolutely right. You have given me the right answer. That is Ministry of Education and Department of School Education Literacy has started this. Absolutely right. Moving ahead. When it comes to the campaign which has been launched to establish skill outcome fund for youth livelihoods, can anybody tell me who will be the anchor for this fund? Who will be the anchor for this fund? What is the name of that institution which will be acting as the anchor for this fund? Let me see who will give me the right answer here. So today we are having so many questions, right? And I believe that all of you are really come with a full revision of the previous session. Yes, absolutely right. It's NSDC. Moving to the next question. So under the National Quantum Mission, what exactly is the target of the India of setting up quantum communication network? How many kilometers we are targeting under the part of this particular initiative? What exactly it is? It is 2000 kilometers. Absolutely right. Now moving to the next question, the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Please tell me what are the different 4 categories under which the loans are being provided to the people. Under the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, what are the categories which are there? So I told you it's Shishu, Kishore, Tarun and Tarun Plus. Now please tell me that what exactly is the year in which Tarun Plus category was been launched. In which year Tarun Plus category was been launched? It was launched in 2024-25. Absolutely right. Well done. So now my dear friends, quickly tell me the name of the person who has been appointed as the head in one of the UN ECOSOC bodies in her own personal capacity. What is the name of that person? The name of the person is Preeti Saran. Absolutely right. Well done. So everybody has given me the right answer. Now guys, under the 8th portion Pakhwada, can anybody tell me that what exactly is the number of days on which we are basically focusing for the brain development of the children? What is that number of days? The initial number of days is 1000 days. Absolutely right. Well done. So my dear friends, that's how we are required to cover all these areas and we are already done with till the Asian Development Outlook, right? Can anybody tell me the name of the institution which releases the Asian Development Outlook? What is the name of that institution? So right now we are just revising quickly whatever we have covered in the last session so that other people can also join in the meantime. ADB, absolutely right. Can anybody tell me what will be the India's GDP growth forecast for this year? What is the GDP growth forecast for India for this year? What exactly it will be? It will be 6.9% for the next year. For the next year, what will be the GDP growth forecast for India? For the next year, it will be 7.3%. And guys, recently World Bank also come up with the growth outlook for the country. What exactly is the right answer there? Please quickly tell me in the chat box. Quickly tell me in the chat box. It is 6.6%, right? Which has been given by World Bank. Absolutely right. So we have already covered this part, that it will be 6.6%, right? Okay, absolutely right. Well done. So my dear friends, before starting with session, please tell me, after giving all these right answers in a very quick manner, without looking back on the notes, without looking back onto the information, how exactly you are feeling right now. Like yesterday we have covered all this information, and today in a fraction of a second you guys are able to answer all these questions. So are you guys really feeling good after answering all these questions? Let me tell you that in the upcoming sessions also, we will be covering the articles in the similar manner, so that you are basically recalling all these things in a very easy manner. Okay? Clear to everyone? So are you guys ready for the today's session? Today we have to cover the remaining part of the second week of April 2025. So Kashish, ABC, Pranav, Fruity, Harshal, everybody saying that yes, we are ready and we are feeling good after answering all these questions. That's really great. That's how I want your attitude to be, your mindset to be from examination point of view. Okay. Now let's move ahead to the today's news article, which is on the SEBI. So SEBI has launched recently 3 IT platforms to enhance the regulatory process. So my dear friends, SEBI has come up with the 3 IT platforms. What exactly these are? These are, first is Subcom, then e-adjudication portal, and cyber security audit compliance. Right? So my dear friends, what exactly earlier was happening is that, see, there were lot of mail trails were there. There were lot of mail trails, right? Documents, notices, everything was there, but due to the large amount of such kind of trails, all the communication system was quite unorganized. It was quite unorganized in the SEBI. Okay, so what they have done is, just try to think it like you can see that at chapters we allow you to ask your doubts on the Telegram, right? And you guys very frequently used to ask your doubts on the Telegram channel of chapters, right? So what happened with this? Like, we could have also told you to go to the various 4-5 channels and then try to resolve your doubts, right? So what happens is, with this becomes the flexibility, and we are no more required to maintain the records of all these different kind of trails. So basically the process has become more easy, productive and efficient for you as well as for us, right? So that's why SEBI has come up with its own system, which is called Subcom. It is for the communication. Okay. Now moving to the next part, that is the e-adjudication portal. So what used to happen is that earlier when there were court hearings, they have to physically go there. These were quite very long in length. Lot of toll was taking place on the SEBI personals, right? So what happened is, they just tried to do like what they will be doing. They will be able to attend the online hearings only, right? They will be getting the permissions online from the court, and that's how again it is basically enhanced the efficiency in the SEBI's work. Clear? Then after that, when it comes to the cyber security, guys, cyber security is also very important. For the cyber security, every time SEBI has to do manual checks for the things. There were manual checklists for the things. So SEBI decided that when we are already modernizing every other thing, then why not do this also? So what they have done is they have involved the usage of artificial intelligence to ensure that yes, we are having the easy cyber security audit, as we are automating the audit part of the cyber security. And that's why it came up with the initiative of Cyber Security Audit Compliance, CSAC. Now let's try to understand through the article itself what exactly it is. So the initiative aims to streamline communication, enable digital quasi-judicial proceedings, and strengthen the cyber security supervision of regulated entities. Right? You can see here we are enabling digital quasi-judicial proceedings, strengthening the cyber security supervision. Now the subcom, what is the subcom? It is a universal communication platform which will replace email-based interactions with the SEBI and ensuring accessible records and institutional memory. So now we are having an institutional memory. We are just replacing the email trails, right? And we are having this universal communication platform, that is SUPCOM, super communication platform. It is SUPCOM, right? So we are centralizing all official interactions with the external entities. Platform ensures an audit trail of communications, prevents fragmented communication, broken reply chains. So all these things are being fixed with the help of this particular initiative. Now moving to the next part, e-adjudication portal. So it is a next generation platform designed to digitally enable quasi judicial proceedings. So जितनी भी court hearings proceedings होती थी उसको उन्होंने online कर दिया, digital कर दिया, right? Providing alternate transparent platform for all parties involved. तो जो भी party involved है उसके लिए एक बहुत ही transparent platform we have provided them, right? This will facilitate direct interaction with the external entities, allowing them to access and download show cause notices, submit replies, participate in proceedings through a dedicated online hearing module. So you can see here that how much flexibility they are basically able to induce into the system with the help of this kind of event. Understood? Clear to everyone? So that's how we have to do this, right? Okay. Now moving to the next part, that is the CSAC. CSAC, what it is? It is the AI enabled platform which analyzes cyber audit reports. So cyber audit reports को analyze करता है, identify the compliance gaps and risks, and supports data driven supervisory decisions. So that's how what we are doing is we are modernizing the structure which is taking place in the SEBI, like how exactly we can contribute to the different things, and that's how we are basically working on these areas. So what are these three initiatives? Quickly tell me in the chat box one by one. First one is for the communication, we are having SUPCOM. We are having SUPCOM, right? What is the name of that second initiative? It's e-adjudication platform portal. Now what was the third thing? It is CSAC. Absolutely, this is the right answer. Okay. Clear to everyone? So we have covered all these things. Now let's move on to the next article. Now you can see that AIIA ICANN achieves milestone at MSME Idea Hackathon 5.0. So my dear friends, when it comes to the MSME Idea Hackathon, this is an initiative launched by the Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, under which it promotes innovation, entrepreneurship and problem solving. So among the students and the startups, we are basically enabling the problem solving, entrepreneurship and innovation. We are promoting all these three pillars, right, among the students and the startups. And how we are doing this? With the MSME Idea Hackathon. Okay. The program supports selected ideas with the financial assistance of up to ₹15 lakh, along with the mentorship and incubation through recognized host institutes. So what we exactly do is that the ideas that we are selecting, that okay, these are really good ideas, we can definitely provide assistance to them. So we are providing financial assistance. And what is the amount of assistance? We are providing 15 lakh rupees of the assistance. And not just assistance, we will be providing them mentorship and incubation through the recognized host institutes, so that they are able to scale themselves up, right? And let me tell you that recently what happened is, All India Institute of Ayurveda, through its incubation center ICANN, has marked a significant achievement because it participated in the MSME India Idea Hackathon, and the AIIA functioned as a host institute under the Ministry of Ayush. Now there is a startup, that is Might Out. Startup idea Might Out, a dual action non-invasive device for safe extraction of the Meiosis larvae in livestock, was selected under AIIA New Delhi. So guys, under the AIIA, as a part of the MSME Hackathon 5.0, this might out startup idea has been basically selected, and now it will be getting that financial assistance of rupees 15 lakh as per the framework of the MSME idea hackathon 5.0. Clear to everyone? Clear hai ji? Right? Clear to you? Okay, now please quickly tell me in the chat box what is the amount of financial assistance that these startups ideas which are selected under the MSME idea hackathon 5.0, what is? It is 15 lakh rupees. Absolutely right. And what is the name of the ministry which comes up with this idea, with this initiative? That is Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. And what exactly is the name of that institution, that startup idea which has been selected? That is MITOUT, MITEOUT. That is the right answer. Now let's move ahead to the next article, that is the wholesale price index inflation for March 2026. So my dear friends, let me tell you that this is the WPI inflation for March 2026, right? So till the time your examination will come, you can see that we will be having the April data also, right, which will be important from the examination point of view. This data is not that relevant, but still we can understand the concept of WPI, right? So you all know that what happens is, first of all, my dear friends, whatever product that you use, first it comes from factory. Factory gives the products to the shops. Factory sells products to the shops, and shop sells product to you, right? So what is the average change in the level of prices for these shops? It is called wholesale price index, where basically measure the average change in the prices of goods at the wholesale level in India. And who is getting that wholesale rate? It is the shop which is getting the wholesale rate when it is purchasing directly from the factory. Getting the idea? So we are trying to understand the inflation, how much inflation has taken place for these shop owners when they are purchasing directly from the factories. So we have seen that for every such kind of parameter, we are always having a base year, right? So base year for this particular parameter is 2011-12. Okay, so the annual rate of inflation based on all India wholesale price index stood at 3.88% for March 2026. That is the right answer. So who is basically releasing this particular parameter? That is the Office of Economic Advisor under the Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. So DPIIT is basically launching this particular parameter. Clear hai sabhi ko? What is the base year? Please tell me in the chat box. 2011-12. What is the name of the body which releases it? That is Office of Economic Advisor, right? Under which department? Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Absolutely right. So now, my dear friends, let's try to answer these questions. Are you guys ready for the quick recall? Quickly tell me the answer in the chat box. Now, till now, you were basically answering the question while looking at the content. Now, please tell me the answer in the chat box through this quick recall part. Okay. So, SEBI has launched 3 IT platforms to enhance the regulatory process. Just give me a second, guys. Let me switch on the annotations. Okay, now we are good to go. So we are having this initiative. SEBI has come up with 3 initiatives. The first initiative for the Universal Communication Platform is Subcom. Now after that, we are having a portal for the proceedings. It is adjudication portal. Then we are having an AI enabled platform. What was it? It is CSAC. CSAC is the right answer. Moving to the next part. What is the name of that institute which has basically achieved the milestone at MSME idea hackathon? It was ICANN. That is the right answer. So through its incubation center, ICANN marked a significant achievement at MSME idea hackathon 5.0. So AIIA is function as the host institute under which ministry? It was the Ministry of Ayush. Absolutely right. What is the name of that startup idea? Might Out. Okay, how much financial assistance we are giving to the people here? 15 lakh rupees. 15 lakh. Moving to the next part. Wholesale price index inflation for March 2026, right? So the annual rate of inflation based on all India wholesale price index, the base year is what? 2011-12, right? So the percentage, again, it is not that much important from examination point of view. Now first of all, please quickly tell me that what is the name of the department under which the Office of Economic Advisor releases the wholesale price index. What is it? It is Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. DPIT is the right answer. And what is the base year? 2011-12 is the right answer. Any doubts in these articles that we have discussed till now? Any problem that you are facing here, please quickly tell me in the chat box. My dear future RBI officers, please tell me any doubt or problem that you are facing here till now. Everything is clear, because the next part is going to be very, very special one. Your favorite RBI notifications we are going to cover. Okay? Okay, so no doubts. Let's move on to the next part. So now, my dear friends, we are moving on to the next part, that is the RBI Monetary Policy Committee. Meet April 2026. Now let me tell you, you can see that there is a star marked here. So my dear friends, let me tell you that why there was a star, because till that time the notification was not out, right? But now, as you can see that the RBI Monetary Policy Committee meet will be sitting in the month of June, and before your examination we will be having the key details of the MPC committee, right? So this makes this RBI Monetary Policy Committee of April irrelevant from examination point of view. So this is basically irrelevant now. This becomes irrelevant from examination point of view. That's why we won't be covering it here. Clear to you? Clear to everyone? Because from the examination point of view, we have to cover always the latest ideas only, latest details only, right? That's why WPI of March we did not cover, right? Similarly, we won't be covering this Monetary Policy Committee. So you can skip it for now. Now we are moving towards the next question, next article of the day, that is RBI has cancelled certificate of registration for the 54 non-banking financial companies. So for the 64, so 54 NBFC's certificate of registration has been cancelled by the Reserve Bank of India. And under which section RBI does this? RBI does this under the section 45 IA 6 of the RBI Act 1934. Please remember this act, because this can be asked in the examination. Under which act RBI is taking this particular step, right? So ABC, yes, the meeting will be taking around 5 to 7th of June, right? In the month of June. And basically you will be getting the details of the MPC just 5 to 6 days before the examination, and that is why it will be very important for you. Okay, as already the new MPC details are there in the public domain, so that is the reason that the April 1 will become irrelevant from examination point of view. Clear to you? Now moving ahead, so under which act this particular registration has been cancelled by the Reserve Bank of India, the COR, that is RBI Act 1934. Clear? Now what exactly the COR cancellation means? That these companies will no longer authorized to operate as the NBFCs. They cannot no longer be authorized to operate as the non-banking financial companies. Clear? Okay. Now again there is another article on the similar lines, that see in the previous news article what is happening is there is a cancellation of registration, and this article the NBFCs have surrendered, they have kept their certificate of registration with the RBI. So RBI has not cancelled the certificates, right? But they have basically provided the certificates to the RBI only, right? So 16 NBFCs have surrendered their certificate of registration to the Reserve Bank of India, where 7 are NBFCs, 4 NBFCs, 7 NBFCs exited the NBFI business lending to leading to cancellation. 4 NBFCs met the criteria for unregistered core investment companies. 5 NBFCs ceased to be the legal entities due to the amalgamation, merger, dissolution, or voluntary strike off. So, my dear friends, I hope that this is clear to everyone, right? So, please tell me if there is any error or any doubt that you are facing here with respect to this particular part. So, this is clear. 54 companies certificate of registration has been cancelled and 16 NBFCs have surrendered their certificate of registrations. Now again, under which act? Under the RBI Act 1934. It will be taking under the RBI Act 1934. That is the right answer. Okay ji. Now let's move on to the next article. And guys, please ensure that you are focusing on this article. It is very, very important article for all of you. Okay. Are you guys ready for this new article? RBI notifies FPI investment limits in debt and CDS for 26-27. So RBI has notified the foreign portfolio investors investment limits in the debt and CDS for 2026-2027. Okay. Now let us try to understand this with the help of an example. Let's take an example. This is your home. Right? This is your home. This is your home, my dear friends. And you can see here that your homes are having different rooms. Right? So let's take an example that this is the main gate and your guests are entering into your home. Right? Your guests are entering into your home because you have basically throwing a party at your own house. Okay, clear to everyone? This is the whole scenario. So when these guests will be entering to your home, so you will be ensuring that there is a particular number of people only which are entering to the home, because if the number of guests outnumber you and your family people, they can become more heavier on you, right? Yeah, yes, Fruity, really. Let's take an example. You are throwing success party of the Reserve Bank of India, being selected as a RBI officer. Clear? So now you will be limiting the number of people who will be entering, right? Who will be entering to your house, okay? So also what you will be doing is that you will be saying that, okay, each one of you, see, only 2 to 3 people are allowed in single room. Only 2 to 3 people are allowed in single room, not more than that. So that you are able to maintain the decorum of your house, right? So that you are able to maintain the decorum of your house. Clear? So you have limited the number and you have told them that, see, no such kind of ruckus is basically I am expecting from all of you. Please maintain the decorum. Please maintain the peace of the house, because you guys are not on the playground, you are in the house, right? Please maintain some discipline, right? So that in not any scenario the situation is basically getting out of the control from your hands. So are you guys able to understand it? Till now everything is clear to the situation. Now let's take an example that this is not your home. This is basically our economy. This is India's economy, and Reserve Bank of India is the owner. And who are these guests who are into the room? These are the foreign portfolio investors. The foreign portfolio investors who are investing into the different areas, different instruments which are available in the Indian economic market, right? Like government securities, state government securities, corporate bonds, So they are basically investing the different debt and CDSs, right? Clear to everyone? So what RBI also says is that, okay, as you are entering into my house, into the India's economy, so I won't be giving you the complete control of that, right? You have to maintain the discipline. You have to ensure that yes, only limited number of people are allowed in that room. For example, I told you that what is the total number of government securities. What are the total number of government securities which are available? You can only invest in 6% of them. So government security, let's take an example. There are 3 rooms in your house, right? One is the government security, then state government security, then the corporate bonds. Cool. So basically in one room, in the government security wala room, only 6% can go, right? In the state government security room, only 2 people can go. In the corporate bond room, only 15 people can go. Getting the point? Please tell me in the chat box, are you guys understanding the point? So similarly, my dear friends, let me tell you that there will be different routes as well. Like these are your friends, right? So the way these foreign portfolio investors are investing in the Indian economy, there are different routes. For example, there is a general route, there is a fully accessible route, and then there is a voluntary retention route, right? There is a voluntary retention route. So what is the general route? Where there is a limitation, right? Where you have basically limited that, okay, you have only some specific things to do. You are only having the 6%, right? That's it. You cannot go beyond this limit. So this is the general route. Now in the fully accessible route, what exactly it is? Consider the fully accessible route as this area. This is the common hall of the house. This is the common hall of the house. So you can consider it as a VIP entry, right? Any number of people can come here. So this is basically the example of fully accessible route. Clear? Then comes the third thing, that is the voluntary retention route. In the voluntary retention route, your guests say that, okay, so let's take an example. I was hosting the party, right? That my students have been selected for the RBI, right? So I have told all of them in the voluntary retention route that my guests told us that, okay, I will be staying here for a longer period of time. So please allow me some flexibility, right? I will be staying here for a longer period of time. So please provide me flexibility. Earlier in the general route, why exactly I was not providing them the flexibility? Because what if all of them are going away from my economy? What will happen? It will going to create a chaotic situation in my economy, right? So here basically what happens in the voluntary retention route, I will be providing them some sort of flexibility. Okay, so you have decided that you are going to stay long here, so I am providing you some certain flexibilities. So that is the part of voluntary retention route. Clear? So now let's move on to the technical parts of this particular article. But before that, please tell me in the chat box, my dear friends, are you guys able to understand this? How exactly this works? The general route, fully accessible route, voluntary retention route. Are you guys able to understand clearly? Why exactly we have provided the limitations? Why exactly we have provided them certain flexibility in some area, and some are having the VIP entry in the common hall, right? So now let's get back to the article. So Reserve Bank of India has basically issued the guidelines on the limits for foreign portfolio investors investing in the debt market instruments and the sale of credit default swaps for financial year 26-27. Now what are the key points to remember? Under the general route, investment limits have remained unchanged. What are the investment limits? I told you there are 3 rooms in your home: government security, state government security, corporate bond. In the state government security, only 6% of the total government securities the FPIs can basically enter. 2% for the state government securities, 15% for the corporate bonds. So 6, 2 and 15. Please remember this. Now when it comes to the allocation of the incremental government securities, so it has been retained between the general and the long term in categories. And here what is the proportion? Proportion is 50:50. Okay, so the proportion will be 50:50 here. Understood? Now moving ahead, the entire increase in the state government security limits are being added to the general category. So उनको भी general category के अंदर include कर दिया गया है. Now investments in the specified securities continue under the fully accessible route. So they don't need any permission in order to, when they are coming through the fully accessible route. Okay. Now the voluntary retention route investments to align with the general route limits from April 1, 2026. Now guys, see a very important part. Now whatever the limits which were there in the general route, now RBI decided that we are aligning the limits which were there, some flexibilities in the VRR. Now we are aligning it with the limits of the general route, and from which date it will be implemented? 1st April 2026. Please remember, for the government security under the general route, the participation can be till 6%, 2% for state government securities, 15% for corporate bonds, right? When it comes to the government security limits in the general and the long term, it is at the split of 50:50. And when it comes to the investment in the specified securities under the fully accessible route, right? And when it comes to the voluntary retention route investments, we are aligning it with the general route, from which date? 1st April 2026. So please tell me, is it clear to everyone? Now moving ahead to the aggregate limit for the CDS, that is credit default swap. So it has been sold by FPIs fixed at 5% of the outstanding corporate bonds, with an additional limit of 3,30,464 crore for 26-27. Clear? So here are some numbers which are been given in the table. Let me tell you, they are basically only for the more of the presentation purposes, right? And not for retention. You are not required to retain the numbers from examination point of view. These are the absolute terms. In the absolute numbers they are being provided. Clear? So you are not required to remember them from examination point of view. So here you can see, guys, although I have already told you, like FPIs are the non-resident investors who invest in Indian financial assets like bonds, securities, without taking direct control or the ownership of companies. Okay, so there is no direct control or ownership of the company. They are just investors. Then credit default swap kya hai? It is a financial contract which ensures against default risk. Let's take an example that you are selected in the RBI, that's why you are throwing that house party, right? So basically, let's take an example that as you are selected in the RBI, your friend comes to you and he asks for 20,000 rupees, right? And you gave him the 20,000 rupees. But now you are having the second thought in your mind, what if he did not pay back to me, right? So what you did is, so you go to an organization and you take the insurance of that. Okay, if he do not gives me the money, then you have to pay it, right? So you are insuring. So this is called credit default swap, where one party pays a premium to another in exchange for protection against the non-payment of a corporate bond or the debt instrument. Clear? Now the general route, it is a standard investment channel through which FPIs can invest in the Indian debt securities. But here RBI prescribed limits are basically there. In the fully accessible route, what is there? It is a special investment channel where FPIs can invest in the specified government securities without any investment limits, right? So there are no limits for the FPIs and when they are coming from the fully accessible route. So this was that, the common hall of your house, which is accessible to everyone, right? So that is basically the fully accessible route. If you are coming through the fully accessible route, no limit on you. Then comes the voluntary retention route. It is a special scheme allowing FPIs to invest in debt markets with relaxed restrictions, provided they commit to retaining a minimum portion of their investments in India for a specified period. I told you that they have basically promised that, okay, we will be staying there for a long. Now, my dear friends, why exactly RBI has come up with these kind of, initiative? Why exactly RBI came up with this? The reason behind that is, see guys, when the what happens is, when foreign portfolio investors, sometimes they just go back, all of them are basically pulling their money back from the economy, right? They're just emptying the economy. It creates an imbalance in the India's economy, and this is something that you never want to have in your house, right? When these guests are basically responsible for a kind of ruckus in your house. Getting the point? So this is something RBI basically wants to ensure that we are having the total control. We are not giving control to anybody else who is from the outside country, right? So that is why it is very, very important. Clear to you? So in a very layman terms, we have covered this particular article. Please tell me in the chat box, is everything clear to you, so that we can move ahead to the quick recall for this particular article. Is it easier for you now to understand the things? Okay, now let's try to answer these questions. So RBI has cancelled the certificate of registration for 54 NBFCs. Under which act? Under the section 45 IA of the RBI Act 1934. Absolutely right. Moving to the next part, RBI cancels the COR of 16 NBFCs after surrender. So under which act this has been done? Again, RBI Act 1934. RBI Act 1934, that is the right answer. Now moving to the very important article. RBI notifies FPI investment limits in the debt and CDS for 26-27, right? So what is the limit for the general route investment limits for the government securities? Quickly tell me what is the right answer. It was 6%, 2% for state government securities and 15% for corporate bonds, right? Now when it comes to the allocation of incremental government securities, what is the proportion between the general and the long-term categories? It was 50:50, absolutely right. Now moving ahead, the investments in the specified securities continue under the which route? Under the fully accessible route. Then voluntary retention route investments to align with the general route limits from which date? From which date it will be applicable? 1st April 2026. Now aggregate limit for the CDS sold by FPIs has been fixed at what percentage? It is 5%. That is the right answer. Clear to everyone? Clear to everyone? Everybody of you is able to understand the article, answer the questions which can be asked in the examination? Okay. So guys, please tell me in the chat box, have you ever thought that we can cover the RBI notifications in such manner also? Like just with these very small and practical examples which you can relate with, and you are able to understand the complete, the understanding of how exactly and why exactly that RBI is taking such kind of steps to safeguard the Indian economy. So basically, let me tell you that in the upcoming timeline also we are going to cover all these articles in the similar manner, so that the things are not technical but even they are more relatable. Because see guys, these things are quite very relatable to us, right? And we can definitely understand them in a very better manner. Now let's move ahead to the next part. Guidelines to facilitate faster cross-border inward payments. Guidelines to facilitate faster cross-border inward payments. Now before moving ahead, let me give you a very small example here. Okay, what is a small example? Let's take an example that there is a friend of yours who is living in Canada, right? And you are living here in Haryana, India, right? And your friend has basically sent you a parcel. The parcel was carrying the iPhone 17 Pro Max, okay? And you were eagerly waiting for that parcel. So when you were tracking that parcel, you saw that parcel has basically left the Canada, it came to India, it came to Haryana also. But that local person, the local delivery boy is not giving you the parcel, right? Is unable to provide you the parcel in a quick manner. Like it is lying in Haryana only, right? For so long, but I am not able to get it. What exactly you will feel? How exactly you will feel? You will feel frustrated that why exactly I am unable to receive my parcel. It has come from Canada to India from in India it has reached my place Haryana, but now I am not getting it. So you will definitely feel bad. Please tell me yes or no. Will you feel bad or not? So Fruity is saying we'll shoe him. Okay. So let me tell you guys, this was the similar kind of scenario which was happening. Now let me tell you what happens. Right? What was happening, that let's take an example of a bank. So a bank is having a wallet, or we can say its branch in the outside country, right? Let's take an example. Bank was having a branch in Canada, right? And a person has basically submitted the money in your account. ठीक है जी. So basically in the Nostro account of that bank, this particular some amount of money was being credited. But you know what was happening is the bank has received the money, but bank is not checking, and that's why it is not giving the response to the customer that yes, in your account we have received the money. The bank is not providing the information. That person is saying I have submitted the money in your account, bank has received the account, but here the bank in India is not even checking whether this account has been credited or not, and that is why it is not providing you the confirmation. So this is a similar case which is happening in the parcel wala case, right? Okay. So Ujjwal is saying sir आपको भी parcel में यही gift करेंगे. So you just gift me your selection, Ujjwal, right? That will be, I will be more than happy with that. Okay. So now let's come back to this example of the bank. So this was happening, right? So what exactly happened is that RBI sees that, okay, see, this is really making the customers going crazy, that the bank is basically lazy here as it is not checking. So what exactly they were doing is that, okay, we will be checking it later. We will be doing it later, right? So that was causing a delay in the payments. So RBI said we cannot cause such kind of delay. So earlier what was happening is bank was checking the account at the end of the day. So RBI told them no, such kind of laziness will not work. We have to ensure that you are basically checking the account every hour. Every hour you have to check whether the money has come or not, right? If the money has come, and what they were doing, banks were doing earlier is that if the money has come, then they are basically giving the money to the customer next day. So RBI is very strict. It is a monitor. So RBI said that no, this cannot be happen. Why? Because if you are getting the money in the working hours today, then kindly submitted the money to the customer today itself. If the money is coming to you after hours, then the very next business day, the very next working day, you have to do this the very first task, that you are crediting the money. So that is how RBI is facilitating faster cross-border inward payments. Getting the point? Cross-border inward payments. Clear? So coming to the article, you can see here Reserve Bank of India has reviewed the speed of the cross-border payments, including the challenges with speed of payments experienced at the beneficiary leg, that is the time taken from receipt of the payment at the beneficiary bank till credit to the beneficiary account. Like beneficiary बैंक को पैसा क्रेडिट हो गया, but beneficiary के अकाउंट में नहीं गया. Okay, right? So this is something RBI is doing, and under which roadmap RBI is doing this, under which framework RBI is doing this. RBI is issuing the guidelines to improve efficiency in the cross-border inward payments, aligned with the Payment Vision 2025. तो Payment Vision 2025 और G20 roadmap के अंदर we are making these cross-border inward payments more faster, cheaper, transparent and accessible. Accordingly, banks have been advised by the RBI that banks must immediately inform customers on receipt of inward cross-border payment. So whenever the payment is credited, you have to provide the receipt. You have to immediately inform through the notification, through the OTP, through anything. Just inform the customer. Messages received after operating hours should be informed at the start of the next business day. I told you, at the next business day you have to do this. It was observed that several banks rely upon end of the day statements. So they were checking the things on the end of the day of the Nostro account for confirming and reconciling receipts in the Nostro accounts, which caused a delay in crediting funds. So what was happening is delay was happening due to these parts to the beneficiary's account. Hence, banks are advised to reconcile and confirm credits in the Nostro account on a near real-time basis or at a short interval not exceeding 1 hour. So I told you every hour they have to do this now. What is a Nostro account, my dear friends? So basically it refers to a bank's account held in a foreign country in the currency of that country. So उसी country की currency में, let's take an example, State Bank of India is there. State Bank of India is having an account in one of the banks in Canada, and that account is maintained in the Canadian dollar only, right? In which also you are getting the money. Okay, so I have given you the example here as well. When Indian bank wants to deal in the US dollars, it cannot directly operate in the US, so it maintains an account with a bank in the US. So SBI is having an account with a Citibank in the US dollars. So that's how it works. And my dear friends, a very important part, Payment Vision 2025. So aim is to provide every user with the safe, secure, fast, convenient, accessible and affordable e-payment options. So under the payment vision, we are basically providing and we are enhancing the quality of the digital payments. That's why we are having a core theme of 4E. What exactly 4E stands for? E-payments for everyone, everywhere, every time. Electronic payments for everyone, everywhere, every time. Please remember this 4 E's of the payment vision. Clear? Till now everything is clear to everyone? So here the inward payments received during the foreign exchange market hours should be credited on the same business day, while those received after market hours should be credited on the next business day, subject to FEMA regulations, Foreign Exchange Management Act regulations. Now banks may, based on the risk assessment and subject to compliance with the extant FEMA guidelines, put in place straight through process for crediting the inward payments to the account of individual residents. Banks may, within a reasonable time frame, endeavor to provide digital interface to their customers to facilitate foreign exchange transactions, including submission of documents, information and monitoring of transactions. So what exactly is the implementation timeline for this part? The implementation timeline is very clear that they have to comply with these directions within a period of 6 months. And under which act this will be done? These instructions have been directed by the Reserve Bank of India under the Payment and Settlement Systems Act 2007. So bank is receiving that payment, settling the amount for the customer, right, at the beneficiary's account. So that is why this is a scenario. Are you guys able to understand it? Please tell me here in the chat box. Are you guys able to remember all these details that we have covered now? Let's try to answer the questions and see that whether we are able to remember them. So here is the question. Reserve Bank of India reviewed the speed of the cross-border payments. Under which framework it is doing so? Under the G20 roadmap and Payment Vision 2025. We also discussed 4 E's. 4 E's, what was that? That is electronic payments for everyone, everywhere, every time. Clear to everyone? Now for which types of accounts we were talking here? It was observed that several banks rely upon end of the day statements of the Nostro account for confirming and reconciling receipts in Nostro accounts. Inward payment received during the foreign exchange market hours should be credited on the same day or the next day. Please tell me here. During the market hours, it will be credited on the same business day. And in the after market hours, it should be credited on the next business day. So I can see here that everybody is rocking here because everybody has given me the right answer to all these questions in the chat box. Well done, my dear friends. So that's how we should cover the RBI notifications. Okay? In that easy way. So you are able to understand this whole notification properly because it is a very, very important notification. Okay? Now let's move ahead to the next article, that is Utkarsh 29. So my dear friends, you all know that RBI always comes up with the medium term strategy framework, and this Utkarsh 2029 is RBI's medium term strategy framework for a time period of 3 years, that is 2026 to 2029, right? So in the continuation of the above, that is the Utkarsh 2.0, earlier we were having Utkarsh 2.0, right? So Utkarsh 2.0 covering the period 23 to 25 in December 2022, which guided the bank's progress towards the realization of the identified milestones. So in continuation of the above, RBI has now prepared its medium-term strategy framework Utkarsh 2029 for the period April 26 to March 2029. Please remember this period, it is very, very important. Now when it comes to the structure of the Utkarsh, it includes the vision, strategic pillars and deliverables and the values. So all these are basically the part of the structure of the Utkarsh 2029. We are having some vision, some values, some pillars and the deliverables as a part of these three. Clear? So what is the timeline for which the Utkarsh 2029 will be working? That is April 26 to March 2029. And the framework will comprise of the 6 strategy pillars guided by succinct vision statement and values. The structure of Utkarsh 2029 is basically having a 3 layers, having pillars which encompasses set of deliverables guided by the vision and the values. So हमने देखा दोस्तों vision, values, pillars, इससे आते हैं हमारे deliverables. So what are the values that RBI is having? Public interest. It wants to work in the public interest. Integrity and independence. It wants to create. Responsiveness and innovation. Diversity and inclusiveness. Introspection and pursuit of excellence. So these are the different areas on which RBI wants to work as a part of the Utkarsh 2029. Okay, in the public interest, they want to ensure public interest by following customer-centric approach. They want to ensure that public is trusting us. And is public trusting or not the RBI? They are trusting. That's why there are so many people in the session who want to go to the Reserve Bank of India, right? They also want to contribute towards that, right? Now the integrity and independency. So maintain highest standards of integrity and independency and foster trust by sustaining transparency and accountability. Responsiveness and innovation. They want to be agile, responsive to the changing technological requirements. So we have to ensure, because the right now the advancements are taking place are at a very, very high pace, right? That's why we have to ensure that we are basically staying up to the date in these technological requirements of the financial ecosystem. Now come the diversity and inclusiveness. So promote diversity and inclusion of all its activities. Introspection and pursuit of excellence. We have to pursue professional excellence and stay committed to continuous self-appraisal. Clear? Now comes the 6 strategy pillars. What are the 6 strategy pillars? These are robust regulations, customer centricity and inclusive finance, competitive markets, effective technology, future ready organization and global India. So these are basically the 6 pillars. Let me tell you, my dear friends, last year RBI came up with the free AI report. You all are aware, right? The people who gave exam in the last year as well. So you know that there the question was on the pillars. Similarly, this year also the question can be asked on these pillars. So please ensure that you are able to cover that part, right? So the 6 strategy pillars include the robust regulations, customer centricity, inclusive finance, competitive markets, effective technology, future ready organization, global India. So that is something that we have to understand. Clear to everyone? Each pillar encompasses overarching, forward-looking and medium-term deliverables. The regular functions of the RBI will continue under the annual action plan of the respective departments. And now this plan, the Utkarsh plan, is prioritizing some long-term initiatives also. So medium-term we are already having, right? For the period April 2026 to March 2029. But we are having some long-term initiatives also. Now what are these projects? One is the modernizing currency management, and the name of that particular project is Samudra. Samudra, modernizing currency management, Samudra initiative. Then we want to expand the central bank digital currency for more efficient cross-border payments. We want to scale up the unified lending interface to widen the access to credit. We want regulatory frameworks for emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence and quantum computing in the financial sector. Then RBI attaches high importance to the medium-term strategy and monitors its implementation progress through a subcommittee of its central board. So guys, here please remember the structure of the Utkarsh 2029. What exactly it is? Vision, values, strategic pillars, and through that we will be having the, what exactly we will be having through them? The deliverables. Okay, clear to everyone? Clear? Which are the 6 pillars? So one is the regulation, then customer centricity, inclusive finance, competitive market, effective technology, future ready organization, and global India. Okay ji, clear to everyone? Now let's move on to the questions now. So my dear friends, we have already seen what is the timeline for the Utkarsh 2029. April 2026 to March 2029. The framework encompasses how many pillars? 6 pillars. So here you have to tell me the name of the 6 pillars, right? One by one, quickly tell me in the chat box. So one was the regulation, customer centricity, right? In the similar manner, tell me the 4 more. What exactly were the 4 more? Absolutely right. It's inclusive finance, competitive market, effective technologies, right? And one was FRO. Then comes that RBI regular functions will continue under the which plan? It will be continuing in the annual action plan. Annual action plan, absolutely right. Now please tell me, as a part of the long-term initiatives, the project includes which modernize the currency management, that is Samudra initiative. Expansion of Dash for more efficient cross-border payments. Expansion of CBDC. Scaling of the Dash to widen access to credit. What exactly it is? Please tell me in the chat box. To the final question, what is the right answer? To the final question, what is the right answer? So I can see in the chat box, Harshal, Fruity, Ujjwal, Pranav, Kashish. Everybody is giving me the right answers. Guys, all the people who are watching this session, please don't be like a couch potato, right? Please try to answer the question in the chat box. Absolutely right, Harshal, it is ULI. ULI is the right answer. Now let's move on to the next article. First of all, tell me these important RBI notifications are clear to everyone? These important RBI notifications are clear to everyone? Okay. Now let's move ahead to the statement on development and regulatory policies. Let me tell you, my dear friends, that whenever RBI sits for the monetary policy committee, right? So basically it also discusses some of the steps that we are going to take in the upcoming timeline, and RBI comes up with the important regulations, rules, circulars regarding all these points that they basically depict in this particular policy framework. And these are across the different pillars like regulations, supervision, payment system, and financial markets. Now let me tell you that in the statement on development regulatory policy of this time, so only the proposals are there. For example, you can see that Reserve Bank of India has proposed to remove the 25% deviation condition, and for this draft amendment directions will be issued, but it will be issued in the upcoming timeline. So basically in the CRAR calculation, The commercial banks are currently allowed to include the quarterly net profits, right? So RBI will be launching the guidelines for that. So basically this, as this is a proposal, so we are not going to cover it. And let me tell you that in this whole statement on development and regulatory policies, most of the things are basically proposals only. In the second area also you can see it is proposal to remove the IFR requirement for the commercial banks, right? So my dear friend, that's why we will be covering these articles when we will be covering the articles when the final notifications will be out by the RBI. Okay, till then we won't be covering that, because when RBI basically provides these draft directions, it always tells basically कि this is something that we are going to do in the upcoming timeline, and they are subjected to the responses of the public as well, right? So public also comments, the stakeholders which are engaged in these particular areas, they also comment, then after that final recommendations comes. So that means whatever right now which has been mentioned here, it is not at all full. So yes, Kashish, proposals are not important. When you will see the previous year papers, you will see that you cannot find any question on the proposal or the draft directions, right? Only the things which have been finalized, the questions are on them. Okay? Clear to everyone? Now moving to the next part, RBI assigns lead bank responsibility for the new districts in the Andhra Pradesh. So my dear friends, we have already discussed earlier about the lead bank, so I won't be discussing you again here. Just let me tell you that 2 new districts are being created in the Pulavaram and Markapuram of Andhra Pradesh. And which bank has been given the responsibility of the lead bank under the lead bank scheme? That is the Union Bank of India. So Union Bank of India is the right answer. Earlier we covered in the Goa, a new district was been launched. Can anybody tell me what is the name of the district which was set up in Goa? New district which was created in Goa, what is the right answer? The district which was created in Goa is Kushavati. And what is the name of the lead bank for that? What is the name of the lead bank for that? Quickly tell me in the chat box. For the Kushavati, it was State Bank of India. Absolutely, this is the right answer. Clear to you? Now moving ahead, RBI has launched quarterly Obika survey January to March 2026. Okay, so my dear friend, this is the homework for all of you. This is a very easy article and not much is there to understand here, right? It is the order book inventories and capacity utilization survey, right? And it is less relevant, that is why I am giving it to a homework, otherwise I would have covered it here only. Now we will be moving towards the next part, that is the articles which are only relevant for phase 1. So are you guys ready for the phase 1 articles now? And let me tell you that we will be covering these phase 1 articles in a very quick manner. We will be covering these phase 1 articles in a very quick manner, because very less things are there to discuss from here. Okay, so please ensure that you are also maintaining the pace. Clear ji? Let's move ahead. So Niti Aayog has held a consultative meeting on the research, translation and productization, and the title of the meeting was Institutional Structures and Process for Research, Translation and Productization, which was held in New Delhi. It was held under the chairmanship of the member of the Niti Aayog, right? So that's all. Niti Aayog has held a consultative meeting. What is the title? Institutional Structures and Processes for Research, Translation and Productization. Where exactly it was held? New Delhi. Now guys, let's come to the next part. Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog, it was Basically, it replaced the planning commission, right? And it is the policy think tank for the government of India, right? So basically, कंट्री को चलाने के लिए नीति बनाना बहुत ज़रूरी है. सो फॉर दैट पॉलिसी, फॉर दैट प्लानिंग, वी आर हैविंग नीति आयोग. सो फॉर द क्रिएशन ऑफ द नीति वी हैव नीति आयोग. We have Niti Ayog. Clear to you? Clear to everyone? So, in which year it was established, Niti Ayog? It was established on 1st January 2015. And who are the heads? Chairperson is Prime Minister of India for the Niti Ayog. Vice Chairman is Suman K. Berry. And additional charge of the CEO has been given to Nidhi Chibbar. So, please remember this. Chairperson is Prime Minister of India. Vice Chairman Suman K. Berry. CEO is Nidhi Chibbar. That is the right answer. So can anybody tell me in which place the consultative meeting has been conducted by the Niti Ayog? In which place? It will be New Delhi. Absolutely right. And what is the chairperson of the Niti Ayog? Prime Minister of India. So Harshal is saying that Ashok Lahiri has basically replaced Suman Berry. Okay, so I will be looking into this. Don't worry, although we have covered here the latest data only. But yes, we will again definitely look into this, Harshal, right? Don't worry about it. But for now, please lock this only, Suman K. Berry, right? In the tomorrow session, I will be telling you. So if it has happened just few days back, so this is basically the article of 8th to 15th of April, right? So that's why it has not been mentioned here. So don't worry, if there is a change, we will be covering that in the upcoming articles. Don't worry about it. Okay? Clear to everyone? Now let's move on to the next article. That is the National Highway Authority of India to develop Arogya Van along the national highways. See guys, you see that when we are going on the highways, right? When we are going on the highways, so there is a lot of space. There is a lot of space around the highways which is vacant, right? And only, and what happens is that these are quite empty spaces, right? Just normal sand is lying there in a very unorganized manner. So what NHAI is trying to do is, it is trying to taking a sustainable initiative where it will be creating a Arogya Van initiative where it will be developing thematic medicinal tree plantations on the vacant land along the national highways. So along the national highways, the vacant land we are having, on that land we will be having medicinal tree plantations. The objective is very simple, that we want to enhance biodiversity. We want to support the pollinators, birds and the microfauna and strengthen ecosystem resilience. So what happens, my dear friends, is that when we are setting up the roads, there is a lot of loss in terms of the imbalance in the environment, right? So we are just trying to do a makeover by doing this setting up the Arogya Van initiative. So this is one of the initiatives taken by the National Highway Authority of India. In the first phase, 17 land parcels covering 62.8 hectares will be developed. Total 36 medicinal tree species will be planted based on the agroclimatic suitability of those areas. So that's all that we have to cover. So please tell me, what is the name of the institution which will be developing the Arogya Van along the national highways? It is National Highway Authority of India. Absolutely right. Next news article. So Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs has basically approved the investment of 14,105 crore for the Kalai 2 hydroelectric project in Arunachal Pradesh. So let me tell you that 2 hydroelectric projects have been approved. One is the Kalai and the other one is the Kamla. And both of them are in the Arunachal Pradesh, right? Both of them are in the Arunachal Pradesh. So one is the Kalai 2 hydroelectric project which is made on the Lohit river in Arunachal Pradesh with the capacity of 1200 megawatt. And let me tell you that this is the first such project in the Lohit basin. Now moving ahead, for the Kamla hydroelectric project, so where exactly it has been set up? It has been set up in the Kamle, Kara, Dadi and Kurung Kumi districts of Arunachal Pradesh with the total investment of 26,069 crores. And what is the capacity? 1720 megawatt is the capacity. Okay. So it will be a joint venture of the NHPC Limited and the government of Arunachal Pradesh. So please quickly tell me in the chat box what are the two hydroelectric projects which are been recently approved by the government in the Arunachal Pradesh. That is the Kalai 2 hydroelectric project and the Kamla hydroelectric project. Both of them are in the Arunachal Pradesh. Okay. The capacity of the Kalai one is 1200 megawatt and the capacity of Kamla is 1720 megawatt. Absolutely right. Now guys, can anybody tell me that recently, yesterday we covered about the hydroelectric project between India and Bhutan. Can anybody tell me the name of that? Can anybody tell me the name? What is the name? The name of that is Punat Sangchi hydroelectric project in Bhutan. Absolutely right. Now moving ahead, my dear friends, Cabinet has basically approved the Jaipur Metro Phase 2 project. It is a 41 kilometer north-south corridor, right? And it will be having a 50-50 joint venture of the government of India and the government of Rajasthan. So my dear friends, it will be having this joint venture of 50-50 joint venture of the government of India and the government of Rajasthan. So Jaipur Metro has been approved by the cabinet. It is a phase 2 project in the Jaipur, right? So it is a 41 kilometer long north-south corridor. Moving to the next news article, the INS Sudarshani. So my dear friends, the INS Sudarshani is there in the news articles. Okay. So INS Sudarshani is there. The Indian Navy's sail training ship participated in the Escala-e-Seth festival. So basically, this is a biennial maritime festival in the Mediterranean celebrating global seafaring heritage. INS Sudarshani participated in it, right? And during this, they also participated in the 4th anniversary of the French Navy. So my dear friends, 400th anniversary of the French Navy has been celebrated. A parade was there and their Indian naval contingent also took participation. Escala-e-Seth. See guys, my pronunciation might be wrong, but I believe that in the examination you will be able to answer the question. We are talking about INS Sudarshani. Okay, clear to everyone? Now let's move ahead to the next article. The next article is Exercise Cyclone 4. Exercise Cyclone 4, Indian Army is participating along with the Egypt to participate in Exercise Cyclone 4. This will be taking place in Egypt. Now the next news article, International Conference SMOPS, that is Spacecraft Mission Operations. SMOPS 2026 will be held in Bengaluru, India. So SMOPS, Spacecraft Mission Operations 2026 will be taking place in Bengaluru, India. Right? This is the second edition of the international conference. So this was held with the theme Innovative Operations for Smart and Sustainable Space Mission Management. Innovative Operations for Smart and Sustainable Space Mission Management, Next Generation. This has been organized jointly by the ISRO, Astronautical Society of India and the International Academy of Astronautics. So these are the three organizations which have come together to launch this particular initiative, this conference in Bengaluru, India. Clear? So if I ask you Exercise Cyclone is with which country? It is with Egypt. Okay. Now SMOPS conference was held in Bengaluru. Now let's move on to the next part, Run Samvad. So Run Samvad is basically a seminar on the multi-domain operations. And this was held in Bengaluru itself. This is a tri-services strategic seminar commenced in Bengaluru under the aegis of Headquarters Integrated Defence Staff. This is organized by the Air Force Training Command and inaugurated by the Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan. So who is the CDS? General Anil Chauhan ji is the CDS, right? The theme was MDO, multi-domain operations, which is an imperative for addressing conventional and irregular threats. So जो conventional और irregular threats हैं उनको address करने के लिए इसको launch किया गया multi-domain operations. Clear? Then moving on to the next part, that is the INS Sunena. It departed for Male and there it will be participating in passage exercise in the Maldives. तो मालदीव्स के अंदर पैसेज एक्सरसाइज पर पार्टिसिपेट करेगी INS सुनैना. इससे पहले हमने देखा इंडिया की एक्सरसाइज हुई है इजिप्ट के साथ विद इजिप्ट. व्हाट इज द नेम ऑफ दैट एक्सरसाइज? साइक्लोन. क्लियर? Now let's move on to the next part. The DRI, Mumbai Directorate of the Revenue Intelligence, has busted a gold smuggling syndicate, and for that they have conducted an operation. The name of the operation is Dahabu Blitz. Dahabu Blitz is the operation which they have conducted, where they have basically seized 29.37 kg of gold. Is this really important? The amount of gold is not important. The important is basically the operation, the Dahabu Blitz, under which this syndicate, the smuggling syndicate, has been breaked by the Directorate of Revenue Intelligence. And what is the name of the operation? Operation Dahabu Blitz. Clear? Let's move on to the next part. FIU, IND and I4C sign MOU to combat cyber fraud and financial crimes. So my dear friends, Financial Intelligence Unit India and the Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center have signed a memorandum of understanding to enhance coordination and information sharing. Okay? And this MOU will support investigative agencies in preventing financial crimes, protecting digital transactions, and enabling the asset recovery. So FIUND, that is Financial Intelligence Unit India, has signed this MOU with the Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center. So what they want to do, they want to enhance the coordination between each other, right? So that they can share the information in a proper manner, in a more coordinated manner, and they are basically able to do that. Clear to everyone? So they will be establishing a feedback mechanism as well. They will be sharing the information, sharing the feedbacks, and that's how in the coherence they are going to work together. Now moving ahead, there is a CRPF Whaler Day. So my dear friends, CRPF Whaler Day is commemorated every year on 9th of April. So a historical moment is basically attached to this particular moment. And what exactly it is? CRPF Whaler Day is observed every year 9th of April. It commemorates the event of 9th April 1965 which took place at Sardar Post. तो सरदार पोस्ट पे ये हुआ था in the run of Kutch, Gujarat. Okay? Two companies of CRPF faced a full-fledged brigade attack by the Pakistan Army despite being outnumbered and having inferior weaponry. So they were very less number of people and not having some good equipments as well, but still they were able to face that Pakistan Army, right? Without having any full-fledged brigade attack. Okay, so that's why the valor, the bravery of the persons are basically celebrated every year as the CRPF Whaler Day on 9th of April. And who is the Director General of the CRPF? It is Shri GP Singh. When it comes to the CRPF, it was established as the Crown Representative Police in 1939 on 27th of July, and further it was renamed as CRPF in the December 28, 1949. तो 1949 में CRPF एक्ट के अंदर उसको रीनेम किया गया, पहले 1939 में इसको इस्टेब्लिश किया गया. Clear, my dear friends? Now let's move on to the last article, that is the World Navkar Mahamantra Day, which is observed on 9th of April. So World Navkar Mahamantra Day was observed on 9th of April. So it is observed on 9th of April to promote the spiritual harmony and ethical consciousness, right? Navkar Mahamantra Divas. Now let me tell you that what is the name of that religion in which it is really having a very high value, that is Jainism, where they do a lot of chants during this particular day. Clear? Are you guys ready to answer me the questions of the quick recall? Please tell me in the chat box, are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to answer me the question in the quick recall? Please tell me in the chat box. Okay, so before that, I want to see some kind of energy in the chat box. Kindly show some energy first in the chat box so that we can start, and in a very quick manner we will be covering all of these information, these articles in a very quick manner. Okay, so just consider it like your Drishyam round. So here, my dear friends, let's start. So Reserve Bank of India has assigned the lead bank responsibility of new districts in the Andhra Pradesh. To which bank it has been given? Union Bank of India. That is the right answer. Next part, Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog has held consultative meeting on the research, translation and productization. So now the Niti Aayog, my dear friends, when it comes to Niti Aayog, it was established on in 2015. Okay, yes, 1st Jan 2015 is the right answer. Moving ahead, who is the chairperson? The chairperson is Prime Minister of India. Now we are having the vice chairman. So you guys have already told me that it is Ashok Lahiri, right? Then we are having CEO of the additional charge, it's Nidhi Chibba. Now let's move on to the next article. Arogya One initiative has been launched. So by the National Highway Authority of India has launched Arogya One initiative. Next article, CCEA has approved the Kalai 2 hydroelectric project. Where exactly? In the Lohit in Arunachal Pradesh. How much megawatt capacity is there? 1200 megawatt. What is the name of that basin where this is the very first hydro project? It is Lohit Basin. Moving to the next part, what is the name of that another hydroelectric project which is approved with an investment of 26,069.5 crores? That is Kamle hydroelectric project, right? It is having the capacity of 1720 megawatt. Now Cabinet has approved the Jaipur Metro Phase 2 project. And what is the joint venture of the Government of India and the Government of Rajasthan as a part of this part? It is 50:50. Now please tell me, Escale Isete Maritime Festival was being held. So what is the name of that INS which participated? It's INS Sudarshini. And it also participated in the 400th anniversary of the French Navy. Indian Army participated in the India-Egypt Joint Special Force exercise. What is the name? It is Cyclone. And it was the 4th edition of the exercise. And where exactly this exercise has taken place? It was conducted in Egypt only. It was hosted by Egypt only. Now we are having the next part, the International Conference SMOPS 2026, which was held in Bengaluru. Moving ahead, Run Samvad 2026 seminar on the multi-domain operations, which were held in Bengaluru, right? So they commenced in Bengaluru. What was the theme? It was MDO, multi-domain operation, and imperative for addressing conventional and irregular threats. Now my dear friends, quickly tell me the name of the operation which was been recently conducted, under which the DRI Mumbai has busted the gold smuggling syndicate. It was Operation Dahabu Blitz. That is the right answer. Now FIU and I4C sign MOU to combat cyber fraud and the financial crimes, right? So now please quickly tell me in the chat box what exactly I4 stands for. I4C. What exactly I4 stands for? I want to see your responses in the chat box. Please tell me. Please tell me in the chat box what is the right answer. What exactly I4C stands for? Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center. Absolutely right. Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center. Now CRPF Whaler Day has been celebrated every year on 9th of April. It commemorates the events of 9th April 1965 at the Sardar Post, right? Who is the Director General of CRPF? Shri GP Singh. Now World Navkar Mahamantra Day has been celebrated every year on 9th of April. So my dear friends, everybody of you has given me the right answer to all these questions. Now please quickly tell me in the chat box, how are you feeling right now after giving all these answers? So you have given me all the right answers to all these questions. So how are you feeling right now after giving all the answers in the chat box? Are you guys feeling good? Confident now in the GA section as well, that yes, if even in the examination the questions will be asked, we will be able to answer. See here, let me tell you that without having any option you are able to answer all these questions, right? Without having any option you are able to answer all these questions. Okay, yes Fruity, definitely revision is still required. So I have already told all of you, right, that when you are coming up with this, whenever you are coming to the next session, always make sure that you are coming with a full revision. Without revision you are not allowed to come in the class. Okay, now let's move ahead to the next article. Let's come back to the articles. Doordarshan, Prasar Bharati and ICCR has signed an MOU. So my dear friends, another MOU between Doordarshan and the Indian Council of Cultural Relations. We want to just enhance the global outreach of Indian cultural content. And how we will be doing that? By leveraging television, radio and the digital platforms for wider dissemination. Okay, ICCR will be providing cultural content including events organized by the Indian missions abroad. So we will be coordinating with the Indian Council for Cultural Relations for enhancing global outreach of the Indian cultural content. Thank you Ujjwal for your kind words, and Harshit and all other people. Let's now moving ahead in this particular session. Now guys, we are moving on the World Homeopathy Day 2026, right? So World Homeopathy Day observed each year on April 10, and it commemorates the birth anniversary of Dr. Hahnemann, who is called as the founder of homeopathy. Please remember this name, because after the exam if this question comes, don't tell me that sir this was a question from the static portion. No, this is there in the current affair. World Homeopathy Day 10th of April. And what is the theme? Homeopathy for sustainable health. Now guys, recently we also covered about the World Health Day. Can anybody tell me on which date we celebrate World Health Day? On which date we celebrate World Health Day? We celebrate it on 7th of April. And 7th April is the date in which year when World Health Organization was established? It was 1948. 1948 is the right answer. So Samuel Hahnemann is the name of the person who was a German physician who founded homeopathy in the 18th century. Please remember the name. Moving ahead, oath and nomination to Rajya Sabha in April 2026. So basically two people have basically taken the oath, and these includes Nitish Kumar, the former Bihar Chief Minister, and additionally we are having the Deputy Chairman Harivansh Narayan Singh, who has taken the oath as a member of the upper house. So Nitish Kumar has taken oath as a member of the Rajya Sabha, and Harivansh Narayan Singh, who is the outgoing Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha, has taken the oath as a member of the upper house. That's all. So I'm really glad to see Harshal providing me that kind of part, like health साथ होनी चाहिए बिल्कुल. So सभी को ध्यान रखना है दोस्तों कि आप अपनी health अपने साथ रखें. You are staying healthy because next 40 days are going to be very very important for all of you. Okay. So the Vice President has released the latest version of the Constitution of India. So we have released the Sindhi language. We have released the Constitution of India in the Sindhi language. Let me tell you guys that recently on 10th of April, there was a Sindhi Bhasha Divas, right? So on that occasion we also, okay, so this is basically something that we have to do here from the examination point of view. Clear my dear friends? We have to see here that we are basically focusing on this. Okay. So please ensure that we are doing this from the examination point of view. So that is basically the right answer. Clear to everyone? So 10th of April we celebrate the Sindhi Bhasha Divas. Every year on 10th April we celebrate Sindhi Bhasha Divas, right? and Sindhi language Constitution of India was been released. So Sindhi was included in the 8th schedule of the Constitution through the 21st Constitutional Amendment Act 1967 on 10th of April. Clear to everyone? So India has made its constitution available in multiple languages, including the recent translations in Bodo, Dogri, Santali, Tamil, Gujarati and Nepali. So these are the different languages in which we are already having the constitution of the country, right? So Joel, I hope that now you are not having that background noise, right? We have worked on that. Now moving to the next part. 9th edition of India Pharma to be held in April 2026. So my dear friends, 9th edition of India Pharma. India Pharma basically identifies the growth opportunities, address sectoral challenges and create a roadmap for India's pharmaceutical ecosystem. So it was conceptualized in 2016 by the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry in partnership with the Department of Pharmaceuticals. So India's Pharma 9th edition will be taking place, right? It is an initiative of the FICI, that is Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, along with the Department of Pharmaceuticals. The 9th edition will be taking place in New Delhi with the theme of Discover in India, Leapfrogging Life Sciences Innovation. Leapfrogging Life Sciences Innovation, that is the right answer. Moving ahead, India reiterates vision to host Commonwealth Games 2030. Guys, you all know that last year we have already covered this news a lot, many times, right? So Commonwealth Games India will be hosting in 2030. In which place? Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Absolutely, this is the right answer. Next news article, 19th Mumbai International Film Festival. It will be held in the month of June 2026. And where exactly it will be taking place? It will be taking place in Mumbai. And who will be organizing this event? National Film Development Corporation will be organizing this event under the Ministry of Information Broadcasting. Under the Ministry of Information Broadcasting, we will be having this National Film Development Corporation, which will be responsible for organizing 19th Mumbai International Film Festival. Clear to everyone? So this festival was established in 1990 in South Asia's oldest and the largest non-feature film festival. Now the next news article, passing of the Kargil War hero Colonel Sonam Wangchuk, who was the Mahavir Chakra awardee and he was the hero of the 1919 Kargil War. He passed away recently. Okay, so we have already covered, guys, the significance of the 10th April. What is the significance of 10th April? We already covered that World Homeopathy Day we celebrate on 10th April. Can anybody tell me that what is the name of that person who is known as the founder of the homeopathy? It's Samuel Hahnemann is the right answer. Absolutely right. Now moving on to the last article, development of humidity responsive neuromorphic sensor. So my dear friends, the researchers from the Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research under the Department of Science and Technology, they developed a humidity responsive neuromorphic sensor. तो उन्होंने एक ह्यूमिडिटी रिस्पॉन्सिव एक ऐसा सेंसर बनाया. they have created a sensor which responds to the humidity, right? And this sensor is basically based on the 1D supramolecular nanofibers, and it integrates the sensing and synapse like information processing in a single device. And you know from where we have taken the inspiration? You can see here, right? The frog. So basically this design is inspired by amphibian frogs, especially the cricket frogs, whose synaptic behavior is sensitive to moisture and daylight. So we have taken the learning from that, and then we are basically came up with this kind of initiative. Clear to everyone? I hope that everybody of you will be able to retain this from examination point of view. Now we are ready for the quick recall, my dear friends. Are you guys ready for the quick recall to answer all the answers in the chat box? Let me see who among of you is really ready for the quick recall now for the next part. Okay, then let's start without wasting any more time. So Doordarshan Prasar Bharati is signed an MOU with which organization? It is Indian Council for Cultural Research. ICCR is the right answer. Moving ahead, World Homeopathy Day we celebrate on 10th of April every year. What is the name of the doctor who is the founder of homeopathy? Samuel Hahnemann is the right answer. Release of Constitution of India, in which language it was released? Sindhi language. Sindhi language is the right answer. Clear? Then the release was marked on the occasion of Sindhi Bhasha Divas on the same day, that is 10th of April. Sindhi was included in which schedule of the constitution through the 21st constitutional amendment 1967 on 10th of April? What is that schedule? It is the 8th schedule. That is the right answer. Moving at 9th edition of Indian Pharma to be held in April 2026. So India Pharma was conceptualized in 2016 by which organization? It is FICCI. FICCI, right? So the 9th edition is having the theme Discover in Dash, Leapfrogging Life Sciences Innovation. What is this? It is Discover in India. Discover in India. This is the right answer. Moving ahead, India reiterates vision to host Commonwealth Games 2030. Where exactly they will be hosting? They will be hosting that in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. That is the right answer. Now, 19th Mumbai International Film Festival to be held in June 2026. The festival will be organized by Dash under the Ministry of Information Broadcasting. It will be organized by NFDC. Passing of Kargil War hero Colonel Sonam Wangchuk. Development of humidity responsive neuromorphic sensor. Right? So it is inspired by frogs. Especially inspired by amphibian frogs. Especially cricket frogs. Are you guys able to answer all these questions in the chat box? Quickly tell me in the chat box. Are you guys able to answer all these questions? So everybody is able to answer all these questions? Okay, yes. Everybody is able to answer the right answers. Well done, my dear friends. Let's move on to the next part. The innovative polling initiatives in Puducherry Assembly Elections 2026. So guys, recently in the Puducherry we have seen assembly elections were taken place, right? So you can see here guys, before moving on to the news article, so on the daily basis, people ask me, sir, which resources we are following in these daily current affairs chapters, right? So you can see here right now, like coincidentally the cursor is on that title, so it is showing us that the Hindu link is there, right? So basically guys, we are covering the Hindu, PIB, Economic Times, Business Standard, Live Mint. So these kind of newspapers are being covered along with the news on AIR and the RBI website, so that we can cover these articles. Okay, I hope that all of you are able to understand it, like we are all only using the authentic resources so that we can provide you the bestest of the information in the bestest of the manner, right? So now let me tell you that in this year the Puducherry Assembly Election 2026 took place, right? And we have basically decided to enhance the voter experience. And how we have done it? By attracting the voters and creating awareness through cultural themes and technology enabled engagements. Okay, so at the VO Chidambarar Higher Secondary School polling station, this robot was being empaneled. What is the name of that humanoid robot? That is Robot Neela. Robot Neela was deployed to welcome and assist the voters. Clear? Then the Kizur Government Middle School in Mangalam Assembly constituency was developed as a themed polling station, showcasing Tamil art forms, eco-friendly materials and the freedom history displays. So all these things were there in the Puducherry Assembly Election 2026. Now guys, let's move ahead. I know that most of you really like doing trekking, right? And climbing mountains. Okay. So basically let me tell you that first American to summit the Mount Everest was Jim Whittaker. He was the first American to reach the summit of Mount Everest and he passed away recently. Please remember his name. He summited Mount Everest on 1st May 1963 and he remained a prominent mountaineer and was the first full-time employee and former president of Recreational Equipment Inc. Now moving ahead, the chairperson of NASCOM Foundation has been changed. The name of the person is UB Praveen Rao. UB Praveen Rao is the right answer. Next article, NTPC and EDF has signed MOU for nuclear power cooperation. So what exactly is the name? NTPC Limited has signed this MOU with Electricité de France (EDF), and they will be facilitating potential large-scale deployment of nuclear power projects in India. They will be facilitating potential large-scale deployment of nuclear power projects in India. What is the name? The name is Electricité de France (EDF). That is the right answer. Now moving ahead, Karnataka has topped the medals tally at Khelo India Tribal Games. So my dear friends, you all know that the very first edition of Khelo India Tribal Games took place recently in Chhattisgarh. And the mascot of that tournament is Morveer, right? And let me tell you that this particular tournament was topped by Karnataka, followed by Odisha, then Jharkhand. Clear? Karnataka received total 23 gold medals. Clear to everyone? So Khelo India Tribal Games Chhattisgarh. That is the right answer. Karnataka is the top performing state there. Okay. Now my dear friend, this article is not at all important from examination point of view now. See, let me tell you that yesterday we covered about the quantum mission, right? So basically a classical communication cannot simulate quantum channels. So that's what this particular part is talking about. We discussed about the quantum communication in the previous session yesterday, right? And we already seen that how quantum communication network works. So definitely the classical communication that right now we are having now, for example, through the WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, text SMSs, right? So basically that classical communication cannot simulate the quantum channels at any cost. This study says this, right? The name of the study is Proceedings of the Royal Society. But here guys, there is, with the upcoming of this particular news article, they have basically established a no-go theorem, stating that perfect qubit channel simulation is impossible using the finite classical communication. So basically we need to have those quantum particles in order to create such kind of channel. So that's why we are having a no-go theorem. So you can just remember the name no-go theorem. The probability is very low that a question will be asked across this in the examination. Clear all future RBI officers? Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear to all of you? Let's move ahead to the next part. 200th birth anniversary commemoration of Mahatma Jyotiba Phule. So Government of India has launched a nationwide 2-year commemoration of the 200th birth anniversary of Mahatma Jyotiba Phule from 11th April 26 to 11th April 2028, right? So we have commemorated. So the commemoration was approved by the National Implementation Committee. And my dear friends, ये जो inaugural program है, it will organized by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment under the Interstate Cultural Diversity Program. What is the name of that program? That is Phule Across India. So the inaugural program was organized by Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, under which program? Phule Across India. And we are having a high level committee with 126 members. And see who is basically chairing this particular committee. Who is chairing the committee? That is Prime Minister of India. And today we also covered that Prime Minister also chairs Niti Aayog. Okay. Now coming to this Mahatma Jyotiba Phule ji, guys, he was a pioneering social reformer who dedicated his life to the upliftment of the marginalized and promotion of education and social equality. So Mahatma Jyotiba Phule 1827 to 1890, and we are going to celebrate to commemorate the 200th birth anniversary of Mahatma Jyotiba Phule on 11th of April 2028. Clear to everyone? Now let's move ahead. Digital only toll collection implemented at National Highway Fee Plazas. So my dear friends, you all know about the National Highway Fee Plazas. Whenever we are going through the highways, we always see that there is a toll plaza there, right? We need to pay the toll through the FASTag or through the cash or through the digital payment, like through the UPI payment, right? And then only we can move ahead. But you know what was happening is that still there were people who were using the cash. So in order to avoid that, Government of India has now decided that okay, from now onwards all the user fee payments at the highway fee plazas will be processed only through the digital mode, right? Either through FASTag or the Unified Payment Interface, and this will be implemented from 10th of April 2026. I told you 10th of April is also celebrated as World Homeopathy Day, and Sindhi Bhasha Divas is also celebrated on 10th of April every year. Clear to everyone? So we just want to improve efficiency and transparency in the toll collection. That is why this step has been taken by the Government of India. Next article. Legendary playback singer Asha Bhosle passed away recently, guys. Such a huge talent, and all of our favorite Asha Bhosle ji passed away recently. The veteran playback singer. She recorded over 12,000 songs across more than 10 Indian languages. Right? She was honored with the various awards in her lifetime like Dada Sai Phalke Award, Padma Vibhushan, and the national awards. Now let's move ahead to the next part. So we are having the India-Uzbekistan joint military exercise, that is Dust Lick. So Indian Army contingent has departed for the 7th edition of exercise Dust Lick, and it will be held in Uzbekistan. So Namangan, Uzbekistan will be hosting this exercise Dust Lick. Indian Army contingent is going to Uzbekistan to participate in this exercise. Guys, now I would like to ask you, please tell me the name of the country with which India is celebrating. India is participating, not celebrating, participating in the cyclone. Exercise cyclone. With which country? Exercise cyclone with Egypt. Egypt is the right answer. Okay, so Egypt is the right answer to this particular question. Absolutely right. And what was the addition of the cyclone exercise? That is 4th. And exercise Dust Lick with Uzbekistan. You can remember with this Registan, Registan is having so much of the dust and sand, right? So Dust Lick is with Uzbekistan. And with Egypt, we are having the cyclone exercise. Now let's try to answer these questions. Quickly tell me in the chat box. Quick recall is here, my dear friends, waiting for all of you. Please get ready with your all the weapons and try to fire your answers in a very, very quick manner now. And the quick recall starts. So please tell me here. In the Puducherry Assembly elections at the V.O. Chidambaram Higher Secondary School polling station, a humanoid robot. What was the name of the robot? Neela, which was deployed, right? Now, what is the name of the first American to reach the summit of Mount Everest? Passed away recently. The person is Jim Whittaker. Now, please tell me the name of institute which has signed an MOU with the EDF for Nuclear Power Corporation. It is PC, right? Moving ahead, Dash topped the medals tally at Khelo India Tribal Games. What is the name of that state? Karnataka. Karnataka is the right answer. Then we are having Odisha is on the second position, Jharkhand on the third position. Now please tell me where exactly the Khelo India Games were held. The right answer is Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh is the right answer. Khelo India Tribal Games have been conducted in Chhattisgarh. What was the name of the official mascot? That is Morvi. That is the right answer. Now 200th birth anniversary commemoration of which personality? Mahatma Jyotiba Phule. What is the name of that program? Phule Across India. Right? We are done with this. And who will be chairing this 126 members committee which has been created? The name of the person is PM Modi ji. Right? Prime Minister will be chairing this committee. Now my dear friend, digital only toll collection implemented at National Highway Fee Plaza. So it will be implemented from which date? It will be implemented from 10th of April. 10th April 2026, right? Now the legendary playback singer passed away. What is the name? Asha Bhosle. Now what is the name of that country with which India is having this exercise Dust Lick? Dust is, sand is where in Registan, so the right answer is Uzbekistan. And I also asked you that exercise cyclone, right? Exercise cyclone with which country? Exercise cyclone with Egypt. That is the right answer. So how many of you are able to answer all these questions in the chat box? Quickly tell me in the chat box. Let me see. So is it really becoming easy for you now to cover these current affair articles? My dear friends, please tell me in the chat box. Is it really becoming easier for you? See, my dear friends, if you will be consistent with your effort, if you will be really into your preparation on a dedication, on a consistent basis, definitely you are going to rock in the examination. Nobody can stop you. Let me tell you that only you are standing between you and your future RBI self, RBI Grade B officer self, right? And I can see here Fruity, Kashish, Ujjwal, Pranav, Harshal, Material, Shesh, Shrishti, Ujjwal, everybody has given me all these right answers to all these questions. Well done, my dear friends. Well done. Now let's move ahead to the remaining articles. So now we are having the CARI, that is Clinical Laboratory at Central Ayurveda Research Institute in Bengaluru, which has received ISO accreditation for biochemistry and hematology. What is the name? CARI Bengaluru, Central Ayurveda Research Institute. Okay, so it has got the accreditation in the biochemistry and hematology. Okay, CARI Bengaluru had earlier secured NABH and NABL entry level certifications also. Now the next part, Unnat Krishi Mahotsav 2026 has been inaugurated in Raizan, Madhya Pradesh. So guys, it was a kind of initiative, a conference which was held, and Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare has organized this 3-day event. See, this is not at all important to remember that it is a 3-day or 2-day event. Don't try to remember such kind of things, right? So the name of the event is Unnat Krishi Mahotsav 26 Exhibition and Training. It was held in Raizan, Madhya Pradesh. So the event serves as a platform for knowledge exchange, capacity building and promotion of sustainable and technology driven agriculture. And that's why a new soil or e-farm mobile app was highlighted, which provides soil nutrient information and fertilizer dosage recommendations through smartphone based field assessment. That is the right part. So what is the name? Raizan, Madhya Pradesh, where exactly this Unnat Krishi Mahotsav has taken place. And what is the name of the app? That is Soil e-farm app. Absolutely right. Moving ahead, Indian Navy to host Commanders Conference 2026 in New Delhi, right? So biannual Commanders Conference 2026 will be taking place in New Delhi. Now the conference on the transformation of tribal lives through science and technology. So my dear friends, recently a conference was held which was titled as Transformation of Tribal Lives Through Science and Technological Interventions. This was inaugurated in New Delhi. Okay. It was organized by the Department of Science and Technology along with the Northeast Center for Technology Application and Reach and ITI Doon Sanskriti School, Dehradun. Again guys, it is very less relevant from the examination point of view, right? It is less relevant from examination point of view. You can see this one information that 1.4 lakh tribal villages and the tribal communities constitute nearly 9% of the country's population. Clear to everyone? Now let's move ahead and let's try to answer all these questions. The quick recall one. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to answer me the questions in the chat box? Another quick recall round for all of you. What is the right answer to the first question? It is Central Ayurveda Research Institute, CARI, Bengaluru, has basically received this accreditation for biochemistry and hematology. Absolutely right. Moving ahead, Unnat Krishi Mahotsav 2026 was inaugurated in Raizan, Madhya Pradesh. Then what is the name of the app which has been launched? It is e-farm app, mobile app was highlighted. Okay. Then Indian Navy to host Commanders Conference in which place? It's New Delhi. So New Delhi is the right answer. Absolutely right. So I hope that this is clear to everyone. So everybody of you is able to attempt this. Everybody of you is able to answer all these questions. Quickly tell me in the chat box. Okay, that's good. Now my dear friends, let's try to cover the upcoming articles. Okay, the final lot of articles is left. So the first article here is India wins 16 medals at the World Archery Para Series in Bangkok. So India has secured a total of 16 medals, 7 gold, 5 silver, 4 bronze at the World Archery Para Series, where exactly it took place in Bangkok. So what is the name of the country which topped the medals tally? Why exactly we are covering it? Because India has topped it. So India has topped the medals tally. Right? So India has topped the medals tally. World Archery Para Series, India won 16 medals. 7 gold, 5 silver and 4 bronze. So India secured total of 16 medals, and India was followed by Indonesia on the second position and Thailand on the third position. Clear? So my dear friends, let me tell you that around 20-25 odd articles are now left from the examination point of view that we need to cover from here. Okay? Okay, Kashish? Moving to the next article. TDB has signed agreement with the BJTO project under the India-UK program. So Technology Development Board, Department of Science and Technology has signed an agreement with the KC Aviation Private Limited of Gurugram. Okay, with the KC Aviation Private Limited of Gurugram, this particular thing has taken place. So Technology Development Board, Department of Science and Technology has signed an agreement with the KC Aviation Private Limited. The project is titled as Boost Electric Jump Takeoff. Boost Electric Jump Takeoff. The project is in partnership with the UK-based ARC Ecosystems Limited, Aero Systems Limited. So just remember, the Technology Development Board has signed an agreement with which organization? KC Aviation Private Limited. Moving ahead, Nari Shakti Vandan Sammelan has been held. Recently, Nari Shakti Vandan Sammelan, guys, a very big event which was held on 13th of April in New Delhi, and it basically focused on the contribution of the women and their growing role in the governance and leadership from Panchayat to parliaments. Just remember the initiative name, Nari Shakti Vandan Sammelan. Right? This name is very important. If I ask you what is the name of that initiative recently organized by India on the contributions of women and their growing role in governance, what is the right answer? It is Nari Shakti Vandan Sammelan. Moving ahead, my dear friends, TISA party wins Hungarian parliamentary elections. Right, so Peter Magyar TISA party has secured a majority victory. Okay, and the Viktor Orban has accepted the defeat. He was earlier serving as the Prime Minister of Hungary for last 16 years, but now he has been replaced, and Peter Magyar has basically become the new Prime Minister. Clear? Moving ahead, National Cadet Corps, in collaboration with the National Institute of Electronics and Information Technology, has launched a cyber security capacity building program for the cadets. So for the cadets, this cyber security capacity building program has been launched between NCC and the NIELIT, okay, which will be training the NCC candidates in cyber awareness, digital hygiene and the practical cyber defense skills. Now I would like to ask you one very question, and I will not be moving ahead in this particular session without getting the answer from all of you. And the question is, recently, right, in the yesterday session we covered a particular program which has been launched for the cyber security capacity building for the women in our country. Can anybody tell me what is the right answer? Please quickly tell me in the chat box what is the name of that program. Let me see who will give me the right answer here. It is E-Safe Her campaign, absolutely right. E-Safe Her, absolutely right. Herschel, you have given me the right answer. So Herschel, Material Share have given the right answer. Let's move ahead. Integrated website and mobile application for the Department of Commerce. So my dear friends, recently the Ministry of Commerce and Industry has launched a new integrated website for the Department of Commerce, right? And this platform will be compliant with the Digital Brand Identity Manual and guidelines for the Indian government websites. Bilingual mobile application with the offline access and GPS features has been introduced in this new particular platform, right? सो द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्री की नई वेबसाइट और मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन को लॉन्च किया गया है एंड इट विल बी अवेलेबल इन 22 इंडियन लैंग्वेजेस. सो दैट इज़ अ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट. क्लियर टू एवरी वन. Now the development of two new airports in Telangana has been announced. What are the name of the places where these two new airports will be created? Warangal and Adilabad, where these two new airports will be created, right? So my dear friends, let me tell you that I am not having the Drishyam round for these news articles, so I will be asking you the questions from here only, and you are required to answer me questions from here only, right? So please quickly tell me that how many medals has okay, so please tell me what is the name of the country which has topped the medals tally in the World Para Archery Series. What is the right answer? India. India is the right answer. Now TDB has signed with which organization MOU for the BJTO project, that is the Boost Electric Jump Takeoff project, that is KC Aviation Private Limited is the right answer. Then we have Nari Shakti Vandan Sammelan has been launched by the Government of India in New Delhi. TISA party wins Hungarian parliamentary elections. Peter Magyar has basically become the new Prime Minister. NCC has basically signed MOU with NIELIT for cyber security capacity building program for the NCC cadets. Now Ministry of Commerce new website and mobile application has been created, and this will be available across the 22 Indian languages. Absolutely right. Now guys, new airports will be developed in Telangana. So what are the name of the two airports? It's Warangal and Adilabad. That is the right answer. Moving ahead, PPFAS Asset Management approved to launch pension fund under the National Pension System. तो PPFAS Asset Management Private Limited को अप्रूवल मिला है पेंशन फंड रेगुलेटेड एंड डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी से टू बिकम अ स्पॉन्सर फॉर अ पेंशन फंड अंडर द नेशनल पेंशन सिस्टम. तो अब वो एक स्पॉन्सर के तौर पर काम कर सकता है. इट कैन एक्ट एज अ स्पॉन्सर. PPFAS मैनेजमेंट असेट मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम. नाउ माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, अ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट आर्टिकल फ्रॉम द बैंकिंग पार्ट. दिस क्वेश्चन कैन बी आस्क्ड इन द एग्जामिनेशन. That is, Axis Bank has joined interoperable net banking platforms Banking Connect. So Banking Connect को join कर लिया है Axis Bank ने. So NPCI Bharat Bill Pay has announced that Axis Bank is now live on the Banking Connect platform and it has joined SBI, ICICI and HDFC Bank. A very very important part, as this integration will enable the bank's customers and they can basically access faster checkouts and improve net banking services across the different areas. So for that, Axis Bank has basically joined Banking Connect platform. Okay. Now my dear friends, let's try to cover the Banking Connect platform. It was established in 2025. It simplifies the onboarding, reduce integration time and allows payment aggregators to activate merchants and using standardized APIs and toolkits. So एक बैंकिंग कनेक्ट प्लेटफॉर्म माय डियर फ्रेंड्स एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म है विच बेसिकली सिंप्लीफाइज एवरीथिंग व्हेन इट टर्म्स ऑफ द customers engagement on the bank's app and the services. It provides interoperability between the payment aggregators and the banks for net banking transactions. Currently there are 8 banks and 11 payment aggregators are live on the platform. If I ask you what is the name of that bank which has basically joined the Banking Connect platform, it is Axis Bank. And what are the other banks which are already the part? It is SBI, ICICI and HDFC. Clear to you? This article is clear. Now moving on to the next part. So guys, Sanjay Khanna has been appointed as the chairman and managing director of the Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited. If I ask you who has become the NASSCOM head recently, so we covered that news article. The name was UB Praveen. UB Praveen, right? Now moving ahead, ISRO has conducted a second integrated airdrop test for the Gaganyaan mission. My dear friends, we all know Gaganyaan mission is expected to be launched in 2027. For that, we have conducted the second integrated airdrop test at Sriharikota, Andhra Pradesh. Okay, it validates the systems for safe recovery of the new crew module during re-entry and landing in the Gaganyaan mission. Now I would like to ask you, can anybody tell me that where exactly the ISRO recently conducted the Mitra initiative? Quickly tell me in the chat box what is the name of that place where exactly this was conducted. So this was basically conducted in Leh Ladakh. Absolutely right. Well done, Herschel, you have given the right answer. Now my dear friends, Meta has unveiled a first AI model from Super Intelligence team. So Meta Platforms has basically unveiled Muse Spark, which is the first artificial intelligence model developed by its super intelligence team. So Meta ने launch किया Muse Spark, right? Muse Spark. So this is a part of a family of models known as Avocado, right? And there are so many, different facilities and the features which are being provided as a part of this. The model can perform tasks such as estimating the calories from a meal photo. Like if you will be just open the camera on that particular app, it will show you that how many calories your particular meal is carrying. Superimposing objects in the images to visualize placement. So all these things are the facilities of the Muse Spark. That is the right answer. Muse Spark. Okay, that is basically the right answer. Clear to everyone? Absolutely right, Herschel. You have given the right answer about the full form of the Mitra. Well done. Now, my dear friends, moving at India's oldest test cricketer C.D. Gopinath has passed away. What is the name of the person? C.D. Gopinath, who was the India's oldest test cricketer. And now after him, what is the name of the person who is the oldest test cricketer in India? That is Chandrakant Patankar. Chandrakant Patankar is the right answer. Absolutely right. It will be really good for the fitness enthusiasts that Meta Muse Spark. Okay. Now moving ahead. Former Union Minister Abu Hasim Khan Chaudhary has passed away. So this is a obituary news article, my dear friends. He was a member of the Legislative Assembly and the seat of the West Bengal. Can anybody tell me the name of the veteran playback singer who passed away recently, and she was basically awarded with the Dada Sai Phalke Award, Padma Vibhushan Award, and also she has recorded over 12,000 songs. What is the name of the person? Asha Bhosle. That is the right answer. Now, Deccan University and Telangana government has signed an MOU for AI collaboration. So my dear friends, Deccan University of Australia and government of Telangana, with the MOU, they will be advancing applied artificial intelligence in Hyderabad. They will be developing ethical and scalable AI solutions for the public service delivery. So we just want to ensure that the services that we are providing to the public, we are providing them at really a very good way, and that's why we have signed an MOU with the Deccan University of Australia. Clear to everyone? The partnership will be establishing the ACAM Deccan Hub for Research in Intelligent Technology and Innovation. Now the next article, Gujarat has signed an MOU for the Indo-Taiwan Industrial Park. So guys, Gujarat government has signed MOU with the Taiwan-based Allegiance International Company Limited, and they will be creating Indo-Taiwan Industrial Park in Sanand Dholera region. So Sanand Dholera region के अंदर they will be creating Indo-Taiwan Industrial Park. And where exactly located? It is located in Gujarat. Okay, it is expected to attract 1,000 crore FDI from the Taiwanese industries. Clear to everyone? Now moving to the next article, HUDCO and NBCC, that is Housing and Urban Development Corporation Limited, has signed a MOU with the NBCC India Limited. This will collaborate on the redevelopment and asset monetization projects. So it will be collaborating on redevelopment and asset monetization projects. The first MOU will be focusing on the redevelopment of a leasehold plot in New Delhi. The second MOU involves undertaking asset monetization activities for NBCC's self-sustainable model projects. Okay, the second MOU involves undertaking asset monetization activities for NBCC's self-sustainable model projects. So Housing and Urban Development Corporation Limited has signed an MOU with the NBCC India Limited. The aim is very simple here, that we want to collaborate on redevelopment and asset monetization projects. Clear? Now my dear friends, India and Myanmar have signed an MOU for school construction project. So they will be creating a school in Nay Pyi Taw, which is the capital of Myanmar. Okay, so that's all from here. Let us try to understand and cover the articles again. So my dear friends, quickly tell me that what is the name of that company which has launched the pension fund under the NPS, which has been allowed now. It is PPFAS Asset Management Private Limited. I want all of you to give me the answer in the chat box, right? Please ensure you are giving me answers in the chat box. Then what is the name of the bank which has joined the Banking Connect platform? It is Axis Bank, and it has joined ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank and SBI Bank. The Banking Connect platform was launched in 2025. Now new CMD of Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited is Sanjay Khanna. Okay, moving ahead, ISRO has conducted second integrated airdrop test for Gaganyaan mission from where? It's in Sriharikota, Andhra Pradesh, right? In which year we are expecting Gaganyaan to be launched? In 2027. Now Meta has unveiled what is the name of the AI model from super intelligence team of the Meta, that is Muse Spark, and that is internally called as Avocado. It is a family of models which is known as Avocado internally in the Meta, right? Now who is the present oldest cricketer of India? Please tell me. Who is the present living oldest cricketer, test cricketer of India? Let me see who will give me the right answer to this question. What is the name of that person? Chandrakant Patankar, absolutely right. Chandrakant Patankar is the right answer. And the person who just recently passed away, who was earlier the latest one, that is C.D. Gopinath. Now former Union Minister Abu Hassan Khan Chaudhary passed away. He was basically the MLA from a seat of West Bengal. Now Daikin University has signed an MOU with which state for providing better public service delivery in that state? The name of that state is Telangana. Now please quickly tell me in the chat box, with which state an MOU has been signed by Allegiance International Company Limited, a Taiwanese company, for the development of Indo-Taiwan Industrial Park in Sanand Dholera region, that is Gujarat. Now what is the name of the organization with which NBCC has signed an MOU for redevelopment and asset monetization? That is Housing and Urban Development Corporation Limited. Now please quickly tell me, with which country India has signed an MOU for the school construction project? That is Nay Pyi Taw in Myanmar, the capital of Myanmar. With this Myanmar, we have basically have this particular committee, this MOU, right? Now moving to the next article. So guys, Paytm has introduced biometric authentication and cardless ATM withdrawals. So basically biometric authentication enabling UPI payments to be verified using Face ID or fingerprint instead of UPI pin. So guys, whenever you are going to pay, you are not even required to enter the UPI pin. Just using your Face ID, your payment will get over, right? Or the fingerprint. So this feature has been launched by the Paytm. The feature supports payments, balance checks, cardless ATM withdrawals using the device-based biometric verification. Okay, so we have launched biometric authentication and cardless ATM withdrawals. Without even having any ATM, you can basically withdraw the amount, right? So biometric data is also not stored or accessed by the Paytm or the banks, ensuring the privacy. UPI pin remains available here. If you are facing any error, then you can definitely do the UPI pin wala payment, right? So according to the National Payment Corporation of India, guidelines, biometric UPI payments will initially support transactions up to rupees 5,000 per payment. So we will be having only the transactions till 5,000 rupees per payment. Okay, and Paytm has also enabled cardless ATM withdrawals through UPI by scanning QR codes at the supported ATMs. So what you have to do, you will be going to the ATM, just basically scan the QR code, or with the help of UPI, you can basically withdraw the money, and the amount to that is rupees 10,000 per transaction. So 5,000 per payment transaction in the biometric UPI payment, and here in the ATM cardless ATM withdrawal, the amount is rupees 10,000. That's all. Moving ahead, Djibouti President Ismail Omar Guelleh was re-elected for a 6th term, guys. So it is quite very easy. Now NFDC to release Malayalam feature film Achappa's album. So my dear friends, let me tell you that National Film Development Corporation, under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, they will be releasing a Malayalam feature film, that is Achappa's album, right? That is a grandpa's album. This film is a mix of family, fantasy, comedy and emotional storytelling. And why exactly? We are discussing it in detailed manner because it has been launched by NFDC under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. That is why we are discussing it in a detailed manner. It is directed by Deepthi Pillai Shivan and written by Sanjeev Sivan. Okay. When it comes to NFDC, it was established in 1975 as the apex body under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. So what is the name of the album? Achappa's album. Name of the movie is Achappa's album. Moving ahead, India's performance at the 2026 Asian Boxing Championship. What is the name of the country which has hosted this event? That is Mongolia. Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. Let me tell you guys that in the previous year papers we have seen the question has been asked across the venue of that particular event, right? The medal tally included 5 gold, 3 silver and 8 bronze medals for the India, and India finished on the second position after Kazakhstan. ठीक है, तो इंडिया ने सेकंड पोजीशन पर था, इंडिया आफ्टर कजाकिस्तान इन दिस पर्टिकुलर इवेंट विच वाज टुक प्लेस इन उलानबातर, मंगोलिया. That's all from here. Now guys, moving ahead, new chief minister and deputy chief ministers, one in Bihar. What is the name? Samrat Chaudhary. So Samrat has become the Samrat of Bihar, as he has become the chief minister of Bihar. And Vijay Kumar Chaudhary, Chaudhary जी भी चौधरी बन गए हैं दोस्तों. Vijay Kumar Chaudhary and Vijendra Prasad Yadav took as the oath as the deputy chief minister of Bihar. So please remember Vijay Kumar Chaudhary and Vijendra Prasad Yadav. These are the two people. Okay. And the Bihar has a total of 243 legislative assembly constituencies. Clear to everyone? Clear to everyone? So Samrat Chaudhary was sworn in as the chief minister of Bihar, and Vijay Kumar Chaudhary and Vijendra Prasad Yadav has become the deputy chief minister. Now my dear friends, we are having philatelic exhibition Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat organized. So guys, recently Department of Post along with the Pradhan Mantri Sangrahalaya has organized a event titled Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat, celebrating India's unity and democracy through the postage stamps. It showcases a curated collection of postage stamps highlighting India's cultural heritage, historical legacy and postal traditions. The key themes include stamps on President, Prime Minister and the freedom fighters. So that's all. And see, a MOU has also been signed between the Department of Post and the Pradhan Mantri Sangrahalaya for promoting cultural and postal heritage. So that's all we have to do. So a particular philatelic exhibition Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat was being conducted, celebrating India's unity and democracy through postage stamps. Okay, clear to everyone? Now my dear friends, I would like to ask you, the Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat initiative was being launched on which date? Quickly tell me in the chat box. Let me tell you, it is a date in October. What is the date? It is 31st October, on which we celebrate Ekta Divas. That is the right answer. Okay, so an MOU has also been signed between the Department of Post and the Pradhan Mantri Sangrahalaya for this. Now we are moving on to the Parkinson's disease. So World Parkinson Disease is observed annually on April 11 to recognize the economic, social and cultural impact of Parkinson's disease. And this year the theme of the Parkinson's disease is Bridge the Care Gap. And we commemorate the birth anniversary of Dr. James Parkinson on this day, who identified Parkinson as a medical condition. So Parkinson was identified by which personality as a Parkinson medical condition? Please tell me in the chat box. The name of that particular person is Dr. James Parkinson. The theme for this year is Bridge the Care Gap. And what is the date on which we celebrate this day? That is 11th of April. Clear to everyone? Now moving ahead, the National Safe Motherhood Day observance. So National Safe Motherhood Day we celebrate on April 11, and the theme for this year is Equity in Maternal Healthcare, Leaving No Mother Behind. Theme for 2026 is Equity in Maternal Healthcare, Leaving No Mother Behind. Clear to everyone? Okay ji. So my dear friends, we are done with these articles. Let's try to revise all of them. Please tell me the name of the country with which India has signed this MOU for the construction of a small school development project, that is Naypyidaw, capital of Myanmar. What is the name of that platform which has introduced biometric authentication and cardless ATM withdrawal? That is Paytm. And what is the limit? What is the limit of this biometric UPI payment? That will be rupees 5,000 per payment. And for the cardless ATM withdrawal, what is the limit as per the NPCI? That is rupees 10,000 per transaction. Who is the newly re-elected president of Djibouti? It's Ismail Omar Gule, right? Then we have NFDC to release Malayalam feature film. What is the name of that film? It is Achappa's album. India's performance at 2026 Asian Boxing Championship, guys. So what was the India's rank here? India's rank was first. India topped the medals tally in this event which took place. India finished second in the medals tally after Kazakhstan, right? And this event took place in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. India won total 5 gold, 3 silver and 8 bronze medals. Now who is the new Chief Minister of Bihar? It's Samrat Chaudhary, and the Deputy Chief Minister is Vijay Kumar Chaudhary and Bijendra Prasad Yadav. Now the philatelic exhibition Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat was organized. It was organized with the title Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat by Department of Post along with the Pradhan Mantri Sangrahalaya. World Parkinson Day we celebrate every year on which date? 11th April. What was the theme this year? It's Bridge the Care Gap, right? Bridge the Care Gap is the theme. Moving ahead, my dear friends, what is the name of the person who basically identified that Parkinson is a medical condition? That is Dr. James Parkinson. If I ask you about the homeopathy, so what is the name of the person who is the founder of homeopathy? That is Dr. Samuel Johannemann, right? Now the National Safe Motherhood Day 2026 is being celebrated every year on which date? It is celebrated every year on 11th of April. Absolutely right. Clear to everyone? Let's move ahead to the next set of articles. So Maha Bishop Pana Sakranti celebrated as Odisha New Year on 14th of April. So my dear friends, Odisha New Year on 14th of April was being celebrated Maha Bishop Pan Sankranti, right? This is basically celebrated on the onset of summers. So Odisha New Year 14th April, please remember. Then Delhi Dehradun 6-lane expressway has been inaugurated by the Prime Minister. This will be connecting Delhi and Dehradun with a total allocation of rupees 12,000 crores. What is the project cost? 12,000 crore rupees. The total length is 213 kilometer. You can see here, guys, it is really a very, very nice highway, right? It is really very, very beautiful. Okay. So I hope this is clear to everyone. Now moving ahead to the next part. India's performance at the Asian Wrestling Championship, guys. Asian Wrestling Championship recently held in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan, and India has finished the campaign with a total of 17 medals. The medal tally included 2 gold, 7 silver and 8 bronze medals. So in the Asian Wrestling Championship, please tell me what is the place where exactly it was held. Let me tell you guys that recently there was a question. There was a PYQ. Not the PYQ, like PYQ though it has become now. So there was a question in the last year where the question was being asked on the Asian Champions Trophy, like which country hosted the Asian Champions Trophy of hockey. What was the right answer? China. So similarly this year also you can see such kind of question being asked in the examination. Clear to everyone? Moving ahead, NASA's Artemis 2 crew returns to Earth after lunar mission. Guys, a very important part. See guys, under the Artemis 2 mission, the crew has came back to the Earth, right? Now the name of these crew members are really very important. Now who are these crew members? These include Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch and Jeremy Hansen. So these are the 4 people. Please remember RVCJ, right? Reed, Victor, Christina and Jeremy. That is the right answer. This was a 10-day mission, marked the first human journey towards the moon in more than 50 years. And they basically were there for a period of 10 days. This was a 10-day mission. Okay, so we are sending the astronauts to explore the moon for the scientific discovery, economic benefit and to prepare for the future human mission to Mars. Clear everyone? So my dear friends, we are already done with the 104 articles, right? And now only the last few articles are left. Can you guys do them as a homework? These are very easy articles, my dear friends. Very easy articles. And even some of the events we have already covered. Can you guys tell me if you will be able to cover that as a part of the homework? Or I should cover here right now? Please be frank. I will be doing as per your call. Don't worry about it. I am still waiting for a response in the chat box. So some are saying sir aap kara do, some are saying ki we will do. Okay, even if a single student is saying ki aap kara do, to definitely I will help you to cover that. Okay, let's cover them in a very quick manner. Okay, let's cover them in a very quick manner. So basically my dear friends, there is a Dr. B.R. Ambedkar 135th birth anniversary was been celebrated. So that is 14th of April 2026. Okay, 14th of April 2026, Dr. Ambedkar Foundation under the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment has organized the 135th birth anniversary on 14th of April 2026. B.R. Ambedkar, we all know, was a social reformer, jurist and economist. Moving ahead, Nipper Mohali has signed a grant agreement with the Novartis Healthcare Private Limited, and they will be strengthening academia industry collaboration in the pharmaceutical sector. See guys, what happens is that so many times there are different projects running in the pharmaceutical sector, but they are not aligned with the industry, right? What is the requirement of the industry? That is why it is very important to understand that to strengthen academy industry collaboration, we have conducted this particular collaboration, right? Now comes the next part, from steam to speed. Guys, this is basically an article which comprises of some static details about the Indian railways. So guys, railways in India begin with the first passenger train. What was the first passenger train? Bombay to Thane, right? On 16th of April 1853. So 16th April 1853, first train run from Bombay to Thane. Okay, and right now we are having 25,000 trains on a daily basis. If you see, from carrying few hundred passengers in its early years, now 741 crore passengers have been transported in year 25-26. And the total revenue that railways has basically had is 80,000 crore rupees. And guys, you all know that earlier what was happening is collision of the trains, right? they were colliding. So basically to remove that collision, we have installed Kavach equipments, right? Kavach system is there. It is already commissioned over 3100 route kilometers. Moving ahead, launched in February 2019, Vande Bharat Express is India's first indigenously designed and manufactured semi-high-speed train. Union Budget 26-27 allocated a record capital outlay of 2,78,000 crores for Indian Railways, the highest ever in the history of the sector. Now moving ahead guys, Nari Shakti Vandan Run was held on April 17 to 18, 2026, right? And the run will be taking place in Delhi, Cuttack, Patna, Mumbai, Indore and Bangalore and Jaipur. We already covered about the Nari Shakti Vandan Sammelan, which was held in New Delhi, right? So basically the event will be themed as Nari Shakti Vandan only. That's all from here. Now Shri Guru Bhairavikya Mandir has been inaugurated in Mandya, Karnataka. Okay. Himachal Day, my dear friends, we celebrate every year on 15th of April. It was established on 1948. In 1948, Himachal Pradesh was been established and we celebrate the Himachal Day every year on 15th of April. Absolutely right. Now moving ahead, Department of Telecommunications and SEBI has signed an MOU to curb telecom linked financial frauds. Guys, you must have seen that since the last few years we have seen a lot of frauds taking place in the telecom industry. So in order to tackle the misuse of the telecom resources in the security market frauds, this MOU has been done so that we can establish a structured data sharing mechanism between the SEBI and the Department of Telecom so that we can avoid such kind of frauds. Clear? Now moving on to the last article of the today's session, that is India has ranked as the 4th highest funded country globally in fiscal year 26. So my dear friends, recently Traction has released its report India Tech Annual Funding Report 2026. According to the report, we have seen that India was ranked 4th highest funded country globally behind US, UK and China. Right? After US, UK and China, India is the 4th highest funded country, and after that comes the Germany and France. Clear to everyone? So we are done with all the articles and we are done with the second week of April 2026. We are done with the second week of April 2026. So Harshal was saying कि sir PDF कहाँ है सबके पास? Okay, don't worry. Let me show you the people who are not having the PDF how exactly you can access the PDF, right? So basically just type chapters. Just type chapters. On the top right corner there is a course. In the course, click on all categories. There is a package. Let me tell you my dear friends, if you are someone who is already having the course material of other organizations, right, other institutes, but still you want to, cover things from here. So what you can do, that you can purchase the RBI Grade B Phase 2 Test Series package. So it will be having all the finance, management, ESI, 5 tests each, right? And we are having the 5 tests for the English, and we will be providing you detailed evaluation also. Additionally, my dear friends, let me tell you that all the current affairs quizzes are also the part of the RBI Grade B Phase 2 Test Series package. So if you are someone who wants कि okay, after the session I am basically revising by solving the MCQs for these parts only that we are covering in the PDF, so you can go with the RBI Grade B Phase 2 Test Series package, right? But if you are someone who is still not having any kind of PDF with you, what you can do, that you can just click on the current affairs package. In the current affairs package, guys, we are providing you the general awareness phase 1 articles, phase 2 articles, then we are having the daily PDFs, daily quizzes, weekly PDFs, budget, economic survey, all the special reports of the RBI will be uploaded here. Additionally, how exactly you can access these PDFs? Like in the month of April, you can see here in the course curriculum, guys. See, there are daily PDFs and the daily quizzes, right? Daily PDFs and the daily quizzes. And even in the 1st to 7th of April, the videos are also the part. The Drishyam round is also there. Clear to everyone? So Drishyam round PDFs are also been uploaded. The current affair weekly revision sessions are also been uploaded there. If you don't want to join on the YouTube, you can basically see the sessions there. Additionally, like we are basically covering today, the 8th to 15th of April wala week, you can see here that the current affairs weekly revision class of 8th to 15th April is already been uploaded, the part 1. The part 2 today we are conducting, right? And this is also over. Clear to everyone? Clear to everyone? So now, my dear friends, I just can place a small request, guys. If you are really enjoying these sessions now, first of all, please tell me, are you really enjoying these sessions? Like it's been around 3 hours that you are sitting. Are you enjoying the sessions or not? If you're enjoying the sessions, guys, then please just small support from you, kindly share with your other friends as well, so that they can also make the most out of these sessions, right? We are providing the free learning over the YouTube here. So basically it will be really great if the other people are also coming to the session. Okay. So Abhay is having a query. Sir, will chapters be releasing a course for commerce and accounts for SEBI and other examinations? Abhay, let me tell you that we will be launching the course for the SEBI, for commerce and accounts and other exams, but it will be taking time, right? Right now I cannot commit you the date by when we will be having, because we are building everything from the scratch. It is going to take some time to make all the material, right? So basically it will take some time, but yes, we will definitely be making those courses for all of you. Clear? Okay, Abhay, is your doubt clear? If yes, please give me a thumbs up in the chat box. If your doubt is clear. Okay, so now, my dear friends, if you are having any doubt, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, we can conclude this particular session. We are done. And guys, one more important part that I would like to tell you here, that as in the two sessions, we have basically covered the April 2nd week. Okay, in the two sessions we have covered the April 2nd week also. So you need some good time for the revision as well, right? And considering the exam to be conducted on the 13th of June, my dear friends, let me tell you that we will be making some changes in this current affairs weekly revision session schedule. We will be making some updation in the current affair weekly revision session schedule, right? So when it comes to tomorrow, as given you in the already shared schedule, basically there was a class tomorrow, right? And today was the revision day. But as today we are already having the class, so basically what will be happening is that tomorrow there is a revision day for you and there will be no class tomorrow. Okay, there will be no class. Now I will be meeting you day after tomorrow for the third week. Clear to everyone? So that's all from the today's session, my dear future RBI officers. And now I will be meeting you in the next session day after tomorrow. But please ensure that you are coming with a full revision. We are already done with the 1st to 15th of April 2026 in the very lucid manner and in a very understandable manner. So if you are really enjoying these sessions, you can mention about that in the chat box as well, in the comment section as well, so that other people can also see that how exactly we are covering the things, and they can also join us in the upcoming timeline. Okay, so thank you for joining and sparing your auspicious time and participating in the session. Now I will be meeting you in the next session. Till then, stay happy, stay healthy. Wish